Brand disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed by individuals on this platform, the callers plus invited guests, are their own. The information you hear does not reflect the overall views of all parties associated with this brand. We encourage everyone to research all things heard live or via archive for edification purposes. Discretion is advised.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Radio.
Help keep the show on the air. If you want to help, you can send your donation through PayPal. The email is debatetalkforyou@gmail.com or through Cash App, $salshowtime. Thanks for your support.
And thank you, everybody, again on Debate Talk for You for tuning in. And again, the title of this class is Jesus Christ, or Yeshua HaMashiach, whatever name you want to use for him, foretold in the Apocrypha, meaning prophesied in the Apocrypha to come and to suffer and to die. And I decided to do this particular class because unless you've been living under a rock for the past few months, then you should know that there has been an ongoing controversy between the Messianic Hebrews and the Tanakh-only Hebrews. And I don't like to call people or label people by any names that they're not comfortable with. I used to call them non-Messianics, but I know they don't like that name because non-Messianics actually implies or infers that you don't believe in the Messiah, period. And that is not their view. And the last thing Brother Josh wants to do is misrepresent somebody's view. But to me, they are non-Messianics. I'm letting y'all know, to me. And if you are a Messianic believer as far as the Messiah of the New Testament, they should be non-Messianic to you too. Because as far as I'm concerned, and you should be concerned if you believe in the Messiah of the New Testament, they are non-Messianic if they don't believe in him. So I decided to do this particular class because when a lot of people come on Debate Talk for You and say certain things, do certain things, there are a lot of behind-the-scenes things that are going on that a lot of people don't know. You follow what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is a lot of people who have no real history on Debate Talk for You just suddenly start popping out the woodworks, mainly to not only Hebrews, and they try to come on Debate Talk for You, and they want to make a name for themselves. So the first thing they want to do is go after the top contenders, like myself, Zadok, Alazar, Brother Stanley, LaRon Campbell, so on and so forth, right? And because the top contenders on Debate Talk for You are undeniably Messianic believers, they want to go after them. And the crazy thing is you got people who have not even been on Debate Talk for You for a solid year, even a solid 6 months, and they come on here and they go on Sal's YouTube channels and they brag and boast like they've really done something on Debate Talk for You and really made an impact. And then they want to take shots at me, they want to slander me, they want to lie on me. I mean, brand new people. I got people right now saying things like the whole Debate Talk for You audience is biased because they're Christians and they're going to back Brother Josh on no matter what he does or whatever he says. And to me, anybody talking like that, if you are reading that stuff and you consider yourself in part of the audience of Debate Talk for You, you should feel very insulted. Because even though I've been here since season 1, as Sal has said, I had no connection, no previous affiliation with nobody listening today other than people from my own group or people who already knew me before I came on Debate Talk for You. So any respect or adoration that ABT has from the Debate Talk for You audience was earned. When I first stepped into the ring, nobody knew me. Just like when you first stepped into the ring, nobody knew you. So if you feel like you're not getting the adoration or respect or reverence that you think you deserve, then it's because you're not doing anything to please or impress the Debate Talk for You audience. Don't blame the contenders who the audience love and respect. blame yourself. Another reason why I decided to do this class is because a lot of people, and I'm just going to come right out and say it, they like to use Sal. And we all use Sal. But what I mean is, before this Messiah, Messianic versus Tanakh only Hebrew thing became so big, a lot of these Tanakh only Hebrews were nowhere to be found. I remember there were times when Sal couldn't even do shows because he didn't have people who was volunteering to do any lessons for him, debates, whatever. Then all of a sudden, when this Messianic versus Tanakh only Hebrew thing became like a fad, like the hottest thing going now all of a sudden all these brothers want to come out the woodwork and they want to get on Debate Talk for You, and now they want to shine. But they want nowhere to be found when Sal needed people to be on this show. But I'm not going to go too much into that. So I want y'all to understand that a lot of people who are now showing up for the first time are not here for edification purposes. They are not here to make sure that you understand this thing. A lot of people are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to glorify themselves. That's why you look at these comments and you see people saying stuff like, I'm the champion, Josh is not the champion. I never claimed to be the champion. The people declare me the champion, because that's who I'm here for. That's what the word minister means. When you are a minister, it means servant. So if you are a minister, you are here to serve the people, not serve yourself. A lot of these brothers in Israel are acting like divas, a bunch of females that want attention. That's how a lot of these brothers are acting like in Israel. And sad to say, it's mostly coming from the Tanakh only side of Israel. It's mostly coming from them. So I decided to do this class because this class is going to clear up a lot of controversy. Because a lot of these guys, and they'll never tell you this, who are now claiming to be Tanakh only Hebrews, have not even been Tanakh only Hebrews for a good solid 2 years. Yet they're ready. Some of them haven't even been Tanakh only Hebrews for a year. Yet they want to come on Sal's show and just promote this doctrine, this movement, if you will. But before then, they were nowhere to be found. When they believed in the Messiah, Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, they didn't have all this enthusiasm. They didn't have all this zeal. Most of them didn't. A few of them still pretty much act the same way, but most of them didn't. But now all of a sudden, they think they're just going to invade Debate Talk for You. But there's only one problem, sisters and brothers. You can't just invade Debate Talk for You and think you're not going to have to see Brother Josh, Brother Zadok, Brother Stanley, Brother LaRon Campbell, Brother Alazar, all these Messianic believers. So I wanted to do something that a lot of these guys don't pay attention to. See, when most of these guys declared themselves to be Tanakh only now and started to reject the New Testament, if you notice, if you paid attention, none of them brothers came out and gave their views on the Apocrypha. And all of these brothers that I know of who became Tanakh only, they believed the Apocrypha before they became Tanakh only. So when you become Tanakh only, then it's not enough for you to just tell people what you believe about the New Testament now. You need to tell people what's your view on the Apocrypha. Now, oddly enough, I guarantee you that a lot of them still believe in the Apocrypha, oddly enough. But what they're going to do after tonight is they're going to have to get rid of the Apocrypha too and really truly become Tanakh only, because the Apocrypha reveals that Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, is the Messiah. In fact, in this lesson tonight, we're going to show you from the Apocrypha that our ancient Hebrew forefathers, yes, it was written by Hebrew Israelites. Even though it was written in Greek, you can do the history. We're going to look it up. It was written by Hebrew Israelites. And I'm going to show you from the Apocrypha that our Hebrew forefathers understood the suffering servant in Isaiah 53 to be an individual, not the nation of Israel, as these false teachers are coming on here trying to get you to fall into. So if our Hebrew forefathers understood it to be an individual, why are you today trying to convince people it's the nation of Israel? It's simple, because you're trying to interpret the Messiah out of it. But if I can show you how Hebrew forefathers believed that that was an individual, and it couldn't be anybody like Jeremiah, Ezekiel, or Isaiah, because these people were long dead when the books of the Apocrypha were written, then you have no choice but to accept that it is who we know today as Jesus Christ. And I'm going to show you clear-cut references to Jesus Christ. Only one person that fits the bill, Jesus Christ. You will not be able to deny this unless you just put down the Apocrypha. You're not going to be able to say, oh, this is just something about anybody. It's too clear. It matches too perfectly. You're not going to be able to discredit the Apocrypha, and if you do, everybody's going to know that you didn't do it until after you heard this class. So for all my Tanakh only Hebrews who may be listening right now, you might want to go ahead and go on the record saying you don't believe in the Apocrypha no more. Because if you do it after you hear this, everybody's going to know you're only saying it because we proved Jesus Christ in it. And that's not all, sisters and brothers. I also have another class titled Jesus Christ Foretold in the Book of Enoch. I got a class titled The Teachings of Jesus Christ Found in the Apocrypha. See, what these guys want to do is pretend like that after Malachi, our Hebrew forefathers just stopped writing. They just sat down and just gave it up. They had no more messianic expectations. Yes, they did. And when we take you to these writings, you're going to see for yourself that Jesus Christ is most definitely foretold in the Apocrypha. It's not a coincidence. It's clear and it's dry. And I want somebody, because I know they're listening. Jeff, you know they're listening. Kevin, you know they're listening. Sal, you know they're listening. I want a non-messianic Hebrew, a.k.a. a Tanakh-only Hebrew, who still believes in the Apocrypha. When they call in, if you have the nerve to call in, I want you to go to these writers that I'm going to present to you and tell me this is not describing Jesus Christ. And then show me anybody else in history that fits this. And then tell me how you can still believe that Isaiah 53 is referring to the nation of Israel, even though all Tanakh-only Hebrews don't share that view. Some don't believe it is talking about an individual. They just don't believe it's talking about Jesus Christ. But if you believe it's talking about the nation of Israel, I want you to explain to me why the writers of the Apocrypha thought it was talking about an individual. You mean to tell me you have more understanding than them? See, a lot of these brothers are so arrogant and full of themselves that they think that you should believe them over the people that actually penned this stuff in the first place. So what we're going to do first is go to the Holman Bible Dictionary, because we're going to be principally reading from the Apocrypha and specifically the Book of Wisdom, also known as the Wisdom of Solomon. Now, we're reading the Holman Bible Dictionary, and what I'm doing is just giving you a background, a little bit of background on the Apocrypha. But what we're going to do first is we're going to look up the word Apocrypha, then we're going to look up the specific books we're going to read. First, we're going to look up Apocrypha, because like Sal said, a lot of people have been wondering about the Apocrypha. They don't really know much about it. So I'm going to give you a little bit of education on it so you can know what you're dealing with. Most of my Tanakh-only Hebrews already know this stuff. So they're just going to have to just ride this out until I'm done. But if they already know this stuff, then they're already in trouble, because I'm going to show you that Jesus Christ is foretold in the Apocrypha, specifically and mostly in the Book of Wisdom. But first, this is Apocrypha in the Holman Bible Dictionary on page 69. Look what it says. Apocrypha. Jews did not stop writing for centuries between the Old Testament and the New Testament. Look what it says, sisters and brothers. This is history. Our Hebrew forefathers did not stop writing between Malachi and Matthew. This is very important to know. It said the intertestamental period was a time of much literary production. In other words, our Hebrew forefathers did a lot of writing. We designate these writings as Apocrypha or Pseudepigrapha, right? Now listen to what it says right here. Meaning things that are hidden. Apocrypha is applied to a collection of 15 books written between 200 BC and AD 100. And we're going to show you that the Book of Wisdom falls into the category of the 200 BC. We're going to read that. So you ain't going to be able to claim, oh, this was written later, and the Christians copied it. Nope, you ain't going to be able to say that. And you can go online, look any of this stuff up, it'll tell you when the Book of Wisdom was written. So we can't play these games. It says, these are not a part of the Old Testament, but are valued by some for private study, including a lot of my Tanakh-only Hebrews, right? We're going to see after today if they still value them. The word Apocrypha is not found in the Bible. Although never part of the Hebrew scriptures, all 15 apocryphal books, except 2nd Esdras, because it was written much later, appear in the Greek translation of the Old Testament, the Septuagint, which we're going to be reading out of today. So I'm giving you all of this history. This is history, sisters and brothers. And y'all all know, if you are a Hebrew Israelite, y'all all know all of us, for the most part, mess with the Apocrypha. Y'all know we do. So don't try to act like you don't see stuff in the Apocrypha now that we're bringing this out. I don't want anybody to try to play any games, because when we bring this stuff out, you're going to see it. Mainly, I want to point out that it shows that Isaiah 53, because it makes a reference to Isaiah 53, mainly it shows you that was an individual. So everybody coming on here as a Tanakh-only Hebrew telling you that Isaiah 53 is talking about the nation of Israel, they're lying. They're going against what our Hebrew forefathers believed. I'm going to show you that. So I want somebody to call. That's about the nation of Israel. I'm sorry. I believe the Apocrypha over you. I think it has more credibility than you. And if you are so dense that you will believe for these people over what your ancient Hebrew forefathers understood about it, then you deserve to be deceived. That's the way I see it. But I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about your opinion. If you believe the Bible, let's talk about the Bible. If you believe the Apocrypha, let's talk about the Apocrypha. And I'm going to show you that this is too much of too many similarities for this to be a coincidence. But let me show you something else. Now we're going to look up in the same Bible dictionary, Holman, specifically under the Wisdom of Solomon. Right? Look what it says here. The next 4 apocryphal books are examples of wisdom literature. The Wisdom of Solomon, which was not by Solomon, is called the Wisdom of Solomon because it's inspired by the works of Solomon. You know, the author of the Wisdom of Solomon drew a lot of things from the book of Proverbs and like the book of Songs of Solomon. That's why they call it the Wisdom of Solomon. That doesn't mean Solomon actually wrote it. It just means that it's based on stuff that he wrote. Right? But look what else it says. Was probably written about 100 BC in Egypt. If you go online, other scholars estimate it as 200 BC. So we know that it was written before the Christian era. We know that between 100 BC and 200 BC, approximately 200 years before what we call the Christian era or the New Testament period, right? You can look this up for yourself. The first section of the book gave comfort to oppressed Jews and condemned those who had turned from their faith in God. It showed the advantages of wisdom over wickedness. The second section is a hymn of praise to wisdom. So it's just giving you a breakdown of how the book reads and how it's divided into sections, right? So now that you know about the Apocrypha, what time it was written between the time of that 400-year gap, also called by scholars the silent years, because during that time, they say that God wasn't sending any prophets saying, thus says the Lord, and all that stuff. That's what they say, right? But it was written between the 400-year gap between Malachi and Matthew. So if you are a Tanakh-only Hebrew, then you have to own up to the fact that our Hebrew forefathers did not stop writing after Malachi. And a lot of them, as I said, they read these books and they teach out of these books. We're going to see if they're going to continue to do it, right? So now we got wisdom and the background on it. So now what we're going to do, naturally, is start out in the book of wisdom. Reading out of the Apocrypha for me today will be Brother Kevin. Brother Jeff will be reading from the King James Version Bible. And what we're going to do is look at these prophecies. We're going to look up words. We're going to get real technical with this so only a fool will try to dispute it. And before we're even done, y'all know what I do. I'm going to open up the phone so people can comment and just be honest. Any questions they have pertaining to this, I will explain it. If it's something I haven't touched on yet, I will tell them I'm going to touch on it. But for now, what I need you to do, Kevin, we're going to go to Wisdom, chapter 2, in the Apocrypha. And we're going to start reading at verse 12. I just want you to read verse 12. Read that.
Wisdom chapter 2, verse 12. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraided us with our offending the law, and objected to our infamy, the transgressings of our education.
Now, the first thing we have to clear up is this talking about the righteous in general, or is this talking about a specific individual that will be doing this? But before we even do that, let's break down this verse so we can know exactly what it's saying. First it said, therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous. Y'all know what it means to lie in wait for somebody. That means try to ambush them and hurt them. So listen to what it's saying. Listen to the language. Let us lie in wait for the righteous. It says, because he, it didn't say they. It said, because he is not for our turn. That means he is not down with what we do. He does not act the way we act. Look what it says. He don't support what we do. Then it says, and he is clean, contrary to our doings. The us and we speaking in this verse are the Hebrew Israelites, because it's written by the Israelites. And if you start reading from verse 1, you can see that it's talking about the Israelites. And you're going to see that in the context too. Look what it says. He upbraided us with our offending the law. Now notice what it says. He upbraided us with our offending the law. Talking about Torah. Talking about Tanakh. Whoever this individual is saying that he upbraided. That means he rebukes us. He corrects us. He chides us. He reproves us for our offending the law. This is an individual who they are lying in wait for. Make sure y'all pay attention to this stuff. An individual who they are lying in wait for, trying to ambush so they can kill him. He does not support them, you know, what they do, how they act. He rebukes them for breaking Torah law and Tanakh. So that's what it means. He said, with our offending the law, and listen to this, and objective to our infamy, the transgressing of our education. He said he objects to our infamy. That means being well known. You know, when you're infamous. The transgressions of our education. The education of the Hebrew Israelites was Torah and Tanakh. So this is a guy who is objecting to Israel being notorious for transgressing Torah and Tanakh. But this is also a guy who they are lying in wait for. This is also a guy who is not for their turn. I mean, he doesn't do what they do. He doesn't endorse what they do. He don't support what they do. And he is clean contrary to our doings. He is clean. That means he's innocent. That means he's sinless. And he's contrary to our doings. That means he's against what we do. Right? And then it says, and objective to our infamy, the transgressings of our education. So he objects to them breaking Torah and Tanakh, which was the education of the Hebrews. Nobody would deny that that's what the Hebrews' education was, the law, the prophets. Everybody agree with that, right? But now let's go to the New Testament and let's see if Jesus matches any of this stuff. We're going to break it down verse by verse. We're going to be back and forth. New Testament, Apocrypha. New Testament, Apocrypha. And when you get through this lesson, there will be no denying that this is talking about Jesus Christ. But I'm going to show y'all that this writer of the Book of Wisdom makes a reference to Isaiah 53. And he says that it's an individual. It's not the nation of Israel, sisters and brothers. But this is Luke 11. We're going to read verses 53 and 54. Jeff, when you get there, feel free to read. Go ahead.
All right. Luke chapter 11, verse 53. And as he said these things unto them, the scribes and the Pharisees began to urge him vehemently and to provoke him to speak of many things.
Mm-hmm.
Laying wait for him and seeking to catch something out of his mouth, that they might accuse him.
Look what it said in verse 54. Laying wait for him and seeking to catch something out of his mouth that they might accuse him. Try to get him in trouble with the Roman authorities so he can be killed. They said laying wait for him. If you go back and read Wisdom chapter 2, verse 12, it said, therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous. Lie in wait. We're already starting to piece it together. Y'all don't see it before it's over with. This is a prophecy, sisters and brothers, talking about an individual. Let us lie in wait for him. So we got that in the New Testament. Let's see what else. Let's go to Matthew 26. We're going to read verses 3 and 4. This stuff is not hard. After tonight, y'all going to be done with the Apocrypha too. And eventually, y'all going to be done with the Book of Enoch. And eventually, y'all going to be done with the Tanakh. I'm going to show y'all that. Because they think that you cannot prove the Messiah in the Tanakh. They say stuff like human sacrifice is against the Tanakh. Yeah, it is. You were not allowed to bring a human to the altar and sacrifice him. That is correct. But what about symbolic human sacrifice? Is that in the Tanakh? Well, I don't know. It is. I can show it to you. And Jesus' sacrifice was symbolic. It was not a literal sacrifice. If it was a literal sacrifice, then they would have took him to the altar in Jerusalem at the temple and killed him on the altar. That's a literal sacrifice. Jesus' sacrifice was not literal. So why are y'all taking us to literal Torah law to try to debunk it? Jesus' sacrifice was symbolic. It was metaphorical. That's why he's called the Lamb of God. He was not a literal lamb. Y'all know that. So you cannot try to use a literal sacrificial law to debunk a symbolic one. But even if you still try to do that and say, it don't matter, human sacrifice is against Torah law, I can show you both literal and symbolic human sacrifice in the Tanakh. I can show you both. So all of y'all coming on here and posting stuff on Facebook saying 7 top reasons Jesus couldn't die for your sins, and you're quoting Torah law and the sacrifice and quoting Torah law, how human sacrifice was an abomination to God. Yes, it was. Torah law, human sacrifice was abomination to God. But what about divine judgment, human sacrifice? See, they don't talk about that, Jeff. They don't talk about that, Kevin. They don't know nothing about that. What is divine judgment sacrifice? That's not like the stuff you're making up. No, it's not. I can show you in the Tanakh where God brought judgment on individuals and nations and called it a sacrifice and even likened them to lambs, bulls, and goats. How is that any different from Jesus being likened to a lamb, and the New Testament teaches that God's judgment that should have been brought on us was brought on him, and he was symbolically sacrificed. I can show you symbolic sacrifices of humans, not animals, humans, all in the Tanakh. So why are y'all telling people that human sacrifice is against Tanakh when I can show you human sacrifice in the Tanakh, both literal and symbolic? That's the reason why when I debate Rod Rat on March the 1st, that's the reason why he's already letting people know he ain't even going to deal with none of that. He's already letting people know that. He's already trying to distort the meaning of our debate. He's on YouTube right now telling people, I asked Sal to change the title of the debate. I didn't ask Sal to change the title of the debate, sisters and brothers. I asked Sal to make sure that Rod Rat stays on topic because he made a YouTube video where he's deliberately saying he's not going to do that. And maybe Sal might have misunderstood me because I cleared that up with Sal. I said, no, I don't want to change the title. I love the title and the topic. I picked it. But if I see somebody saying, give me a heads up saying they're going to go off track, I want to make sure that the integrity of the debate stays intact. The debate is not, did Jesus exist? The debate is, if he did, could he or anybody die for our sins as a human sacrifice to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? That's the question, and that's what I'm here to answer. That's what I'm going to deal with, because that's what we agreed we would debate about. So he can get off on all that other stuff if he wants to, but I'm going to stay on the topic. And if anybody later on wants to debate on the existence of Jesus versus the existence of Moses, we can do that too, because I guarantee any of you Tanakh only Hebrews, I have more secular, outside of the New Testament proof validating that a man named Jesus Christ existed in history than you got for a man named Moses. I guarantee you that. None of y'all can't prove that there was an Exodus. You have no concrete proof. There is no record of it in the book of Exodus. Outside the book of Exodus. The Egyptians don't mention it. The Canaanites don't mention it. The Midianites don't mention it. There's no proof as of yet, but I believe in it. None of you can prove when Moses was born or if he even was born. But they want you to prove Jesus was born. You see some of the little stupid stuff they go out there and they say, y'all, they say stuff like, hey, you can't prove who wrote Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It only says by tradition who wrote Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. That's true. But it only says by tradition who wrote the first 5 books of the Bible, which is Moses. And you still can't tell me who was the author of Joshua. You still can't tell me who was the author of Judges. You can't tell me who was the author of Ruth. You can't tell me who was the author of 1 Samuel. You can't tell me who was the author of 2 Samuel. You can't tell me who was the author of 1 Chronicles. You can't tell me who was the author of 2 Chronicles. So we're dealing with all of this stuff right here, and all you want me to do is just keep on answering all these questions when you can't answer these questions either. But I digress just a little bit, because sooner or later somebody's going to have to answer our questions too. And it's only going to be the same questions you throw at us. But Matthew 26, Jeff, verses 3 and 4. Read that, please.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 3. Then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people unto the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas. And he consulted that they might take Jesus by subtlety, and kill him.
This is the same thing you read about, people lying in wait, taking him by subtlety and kill him. They are lying in wait. That's what we read that they would do to this righteous man. Wisdom chapter 2 is a prophecy. But we don't keep breaking it down. So you won't be able to get around from it. It fits Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ only. And like I said, due to the point in history it was written, cannot be talking about any past prophet. Can't be Moses, can't be Jeremiah, can't be Ezekiel, can't be Hosea, can't be Daniel, can't be any of these people. This is somebody to come after it was written. But we saw that. Now, turn back even further to Matthew chapter 15 and verse 1. See, this is how we investigate stuff at ADT. I don't go online and start slandering people and calling people out their names. I don't do that. I got better things to do. We're supposed to be grown men and women, and we online bickering back and forth like little school children, calling people out their names. You got Judah Nazareth calling me Creflo Dollar. I don't told that man plenty of times, look, man, my name is Brother Josh. Address me as Brother Joshua, or just plain Joshua, or just plain Josh. You follow what I'm saying? Lying on me, telling people that I said I'm not a practicing Hebrew Israelite. I've never said that. Everybody on Debate Talk for You know that I teach Torah law. Even to not only Hebrews know that. Everybody knows that. He's telling people that I said that I'm not a practicing Hebrew. I've never said that. You know what that means? You say somebody's not a practicing Hebrew. That means they're not keeping Torah law or teaching it. Like if you go to the so-called Jews and you ask them, are you a practicing Jew? Or if you ask a Catholic, are you a practicing Catholic? That means that you are if you're not, that means you are a Catholic in name only. You don't actually do the rituals of the Catholic Church. Or you are a Jew in name only. You don't actually do the rituals of the Jews. So for him to go online and tell people that I have said I am not a practicing Jew, that makes him a liar. That's slander. And the Tanakh speaks against slander. It said, thou shalt not go up, that's in Leviticus, up and down as a talebearer among the people.
That's right.
That's Tanakh. So the brother slanders me, calls me out my name, right? Constantly got my name in his mouth and constantly lying on me, but then turns around and say, why he won't debate me? No, that's not how you're supposed to act. Why don't you ask me what I believe? Brother, what are your views on Torah law? What are your views on the Tanakh? But everybody in Debate Talk for You who've been listening for a while, y'all know I teach Torah law. I had a whole debate with Bennett, which was a record-breaking debate, by the way. Over 100,000 live listeners tuned in. And he was saying we ain't got to keep Torah law, and I was saying that we do. Over 100,000 people witnessed that. So how can this brother Judah Nazareth come out and tell people that I'm teaching people that I'm not a practicing Hebrew Israelite? I tell people I'm a spiritual Hebrew Israelite. That's what I tell people because I don't know if I'm one according to the flesh. And a spiritual Israelite, as I have explained in many classes on Debate Talk for You, is an Israelite that is keeping and believing in Torah law and the Tanakh. I've made that many times. So the brother's a liar. And I would tell him to his face if he called in, you are a liar, because I've never said that. So this is Matthew chapter 15, verses 1 to 3. Read that, please, Jeff.
Matthew chapter 15, verse 1. Then came to Jesus scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread.
So the scribes and Pharisees observed that the disciples were not washing their hands before they ate bread. This was not a matter of being hygienic. It was a matter of a ritual tradition that they had developed then. So they're mad at Jesus and his disciples because they are not adhering to Jewish tradition, not Torah law or Tanakh, Jewish tradition. Now, watch what Jesus says to them, verse 3.
Verse 3, but he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition?
So he's asking them, why do you transgress the commandment of God by your traditions? So what is he doing? He's getting on their case for them breaking the commandments of God. Wisdom chapter 2 and verse 12 says, he upbraideth us with our offending the law and objective to our infamy, the transgressings of our education. It was prophesied that this righteous man would do that. And then you get to the New Testament, and that's exactly what you see. So far, we already got people lying in wait for him, and we got him on the scene upbraiding people and objecting to them transgressing the law. And if you read the New Testament, you will see that was Jesus' gripe with the Pharisees. They kept breaking the law. But I'm going to show you another example of that, still in the New Testament. Let's go to John chapter 7. This is a prophecy, sisters and brothers. I want to know what y'all think about the Apocrypha. They're going to put that down now. This ain't talking about Jesus Christ. That's just talking about that could be anybody. It could be anybody. That ain't how God works, y'all. God don't give vague information when he's trying to identify somebody. He wants us to know who this is. He's giving us clues and signs so we can see who this is, so we can be on the lookout for him. That means anybody in the first century that was reading the Apocrypha, and they were reading it, we can prove that too, did a whole class on the BlogTalkRadio on it, LeVar and that's one. They were reading the Apocrypha, they could see this in Jesus Christ. But this is John chapter 7, verse 14 and 15. Now read this. Go ahead. 14 and 15.
John chapter 7, verse 14. Now about the midst of the feast, Jesus went up into the temple and taught. Mm-hmm. And the Jews marveled, saying, how knoweth this man letters, having never learned?
And when they talk about letters in the New Testament, in some contexts, it just simply means the Old Testament. Tanakh, Torah. So they want to know, how does this man know the letters of the Tanakh and he's not even studied? When by not studied, they mean he ain't never been in any of our schools. So how he know all of this stuff? Right? But he taught in the midst of the temple at the Feast of Tabernacles, right? Now, watch what he tells these people while he's teaching. Skip down and just read verse 19. Read that.
Verse 19. Did not Moses give you the law, and yet none of you keepeth the law? Why go ye about to kill me?
He said, did not Moses give you the law? This is what he's saying to the religious leaders, Hebrew Israelites, because that's who he's talking to. Moses gave you the law, yet none of you keepeth the law. You got to remember, Wisdom chapter 2, verse 12, and it says, he upbraideth us with our offending the law and objective to our infamy, the transgressings of our education. If you know anything about history, by the time of the first century, the Jews had developed so many traditions that in a lot of cases surpassed Torah law that they became famous for it. Or better yet, infamous for it. So this is what the book of wisdom said he would be doing. It said people would be lying in wait for him. He would be clean, meaning he would be innocent, meaning he would be righteous. People would want to kill him. That would mean to lie in wait. You can read that all throughout the Tanakh. When they talk about lying in wait for somebody, it means trying to ambush them so you can kill them or get them killed. We got that. And we got him rebuking people for not keeping the law. So far, this sounded an awful lot like Jesus Christ, right? An awful lot. But it gets better. Because the further you read along, the more you're going to see, oh, this is talking about Jesus Christ. No doubt about it. This is Jesus Christ. He's the only person that fit this bill. And it's also going to let you know that he's the same person in that Isaiah 53. in individuals, not the nation of Israel. Stop lying and trying to interpret the Messiah out of Isaiah 53 and trying to make it be the nation of Israel. Not going for it. But we're going to go back to the Apocrypha. We're going to read one verse, Kevin. Let's go back to Wisdom, chapter 2, back and forth. Proving it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Wisdom, chapter 2. We're going to read one verse, verse 13. Let's see what else this righteous man does. Read that.
Wisdom chapter 2, verse 13. He professed to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord.
He professed to have knowledge of God, and he called himself the child of the Lord. In other words, this man is going to be claiming he has knowledge of God, and he's going to be calling himself the child of the Lord, or the son of the Lord, or the son of God. We're going to investigate that too. Look what he said this man's going to be doing. See, you're thinking it could just be anybody? Let's see. Go back to the New Testament. John chapter 8. This lines up too perfectly for this to be anybody else. This is John chapter 8. Come on, sisters and brothers. This stuff is not hard to see. I keep telling y'all to not only Hebrews. You put down the New Testament too fast. You didn't give yourself enough time. That's what you did. And the majority of them are former Messianics. These ain't people who were raised up non-Messianic. Most of them not anyway. And as soon as they became non-Messianic publicly, they want to come running on Debate Talk for You, and now it's all about that. But when they were Messianic, where was all that zeal then? Where was all that enthusiasm then? Ain't that the truth about Israel? Every time Israel want to be anti-something, they get real enthusiastic about that. When they want to show how against something they are, we get real zealous about that. But while they were absent, ABT, Brother Zadok, and a few others, we on Debate Talk for You, teaching the people, feeding the people, telling them all this stuff. And then you got all these no-names jumping up thinking they just going to come on Debate Talk for You and start taking a dump on everybody who don't work hard and establish a name for themselves, and that the Debate Talk for You audience just going to be stupid and just be like, okay, we like them. They really think y'all are stupid. They really do. They really have no respect for you. There is no way I would go to any arena that's taking shots at everybody until I can prove to the people what I can do. You got people come on Foul Show and do 1 or 2 debates and already declaring themselves the champion. How are you the champion after 2 debates? I'm trying to figure that out. Where does that apply anywhere else? How can you go to any other sporting event in the world and perform twice and all of a sudden you're the champion? Somebody show me where that applies that in any other sporting event where you perform twice. I can play basketball twice, 2 games in the season, I'm the NBA champion. I can play football, play 2 games in the season, I won a Super Bowl. I can start boxing, knock out 2 people, I'm the world heavyweight champion. That lets you know how conceited and deluded these people are. Already declared themselves the champion. And on top of that, I never declared myself the champion. The people did. It's not even about that with me. I just want to teach the people. And I want to sit down with people who are honest enough to say what they can clearly see the scriptures are saying. That's who I want to talk to. I don't want to talk to a bunch of glory seekers, because that's what's trying to invade Debate Talk for You now. That's what's trying to take over Debate Talk for You. That's what these people want to do. I think they're just going to come in here and run Brother Josh and ABT off. Don't think so. Don't think so. You all about you. Just go on the YouTube channel. See how many times they mention them. I'm this. I'm that. I'm the greatest. Sound like Muhammad Ali, some of them. And y'all see what the Most High eventually did to Muhammad Ali. He kept running his mouth, always bragging about himself. What did it happen? Now the man can't even talk. Hardly.
Right.
This ain't about y'all. When Sal first asked me to come on Debate Talk for You, he asked me to come on there to debate and to teach. You follow what I'm saying? A lot of these brothers, as soon as they step in the ring, they want to start teaching. No time for these games. It's about respect, sisters and brothers. There is no respect in the Hebrew community for one another. We claim we Tanakh only. I'm a better Tanakh only Hebrew than any one of them. I understand it better and I live it better. I don't tell my people to go online and be slandering people. We don't supposed to do that to each other. You got Judah Nazareth, he'll debate you, Raw Rat, because he's scared of me. No, I debated Raw Rat. I accepted his challenge because Raw Rat went on there acting like a fool, calling me out my name. He came to me like a respectable man. That's what he did. He called Sal up, and Sal called him first thinking that he challenged me. It was actually somebody else online that said it, and Rob said that wasn't me, but now that you mention it, I do want to challenge Josh. And when Sal got us on the phone, Raw Rat was nothing but respectful. That's it. Nothing but respectful. I haven't seen him say anything about me online, calling me out by name, or nothing. So why would I accept his challenge? Because the man just wants to debate. He ain't on there going in on me like he been knowing me for years. This is the way we're supposed to be behaving. Character is not being taught in Israel. Everybody just want to show out their knowledge. Everybody want to just show, look what I know. Look what I know. What about the fruit of the Spirit? Oh, yes, it's in the Tanakh too. What about not being boastful? What about in Proverbs where it says, let another man's words praise you and not your own? What about that? That's Tanakh. What about in the Tanakh where it says being boastful and being proud? That's in the Tanakh, bragging about how good you are. That's all in Proverbs. What about that? No, we don't care nothing about that. All we want to do is come on here and make the next man look bad and try to get all the attention on us. That's why I said a lot of these brothers act like divas. And if this is the condition the men of Israel we in some serious trouble. Because I don't see too many real men in Israel. I see a bunch of brats, a bunch of mental patients trying to fight for the spotlight. That's all I really see. Not no edification. But I digress a little bit again. This is John chapter, where I said we're going? John 8. Right? John 8. 54 to 55. Because remember what we read in Wisdom, just to get you back on track. It said in verse 13, chapter 2, and verse 13, he professed to have knowledge of God, and he making his boast that he's a child of God, right? So 8, 54, and 55. Read that, please.
John chapter 8, verse 54. Jesus answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honoreth me, of whom ye say that he is your God.
So he said, it is my Father that honoreth me. So if Jesus is describing God as his Father, then that means he is claiming that he is his child. That's exactly what it said the man in the book of wisdom would do. But it also said he would claim that he has knowledge of God. Let's see if that's in there. Read verse 55.
Verse 55. Yea, ye have not known him, but I know him. And if I should say, I know him not, I shall be a liar, like unto you. But I know him, and keep his saying.
It said, yet ye have not known him, but I know him. When you claim to know somebody, that's the same as saying you have knowledge of them. And he's talking about God. So you got a guy claiming to be the child of God and claiming to have knowledge of God. Wow, that's a big coincidence that we're like on the 14th that this guy has completely in common with who we know in Jesus Christ. That's a heck of a coincidence, ain't it, Jeff and Kevin?
Yes, it is.
Really big coincidence here. That's both of them in the same verse. He's claiming God is his father. That means he's saying he's the child of God or the son of God. And he's saying he got knowledge of him. Want more proof of that? Let's continue. Turn back one chapter to chapter 7. You can't get around this stuff, man. And this was written approximately 200 years before the first century. So I don't want to hear nobody, well, the Christians copied that in there. Nope. Nope, this was already around. Done. All you got to do is do some historical research. You'll see that the so-called church fathers were quoting Wisdom, Tobit, all of these books. They were quoting these books. These books were available. They were done. And if you know anything about the Bible, you will know that when events happen in the Bible, they are usually not put to paper until many decades later.
Right.
Y'all know that. So if they were around to be quoted, that means they were done. And you can look that up. You can read, well, in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd century, people were quoting the Apocrypha. You can read that, right? But this is John chapter 7, verses 28 and 29. Read that, please.
John chapter 7, verse 28. Then cried Jesus in the temple as he taught, saying, You both know me, and ye know whence I am. And I am not come of myself, but he that sent me is true, whom ye know not. But I know him, for I am from him, and he hath sent me.
Why does Jesus keep talking about he know God and other people don't? Because that's what the prophecy said. It says in Wisdom chapter 2, verse 13, it says, he professeth to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. Who do y'all know? Being honest. Both my Messianic and Tanakh only, who do y'all know that fit this perfectly? Yeah, who fits this perfectly? Come on, let's be honest now.
Sound like Jesus Christ to me.
What do you think about, Kevin? Just being honest. Who does this sound like?
I don't know. It might be Jeremiah.
Right.
Might be Jeremiah.
Right. This is talking about Jesus Christ. This is a prophecy.
Correct.
Everything you're reading about that. But now, let's go back to the Apocrypha. Let's keep it moving. You cannot get around this stuff. Wisdom chapter 2, we're going to read verses 14 and 15. See, that's what I be talking about. This is how we break down Scripture. We get real technical. I ain't got to go on YouTube and get into a shouting match with these fools, because that's what they are to me. They're fools. Fighting for the limelight. Don't care anything about you. Just want to be adored by you. That's all they want. I don't do this for praise from the Debate Talk for You audience. I don't do that for them. Only thing I do for them is to give them the truth, because that's what I'm called to do. I'm called to edify people, not to brag about how brilliant and how good I am. Brag about their record. I mean, goodness, you got brothers that have been on Debate Talk for You, don't have 10, 12 debates, and they never bragged about their record. You do 2 debates, and already I'm 2-0. Dang, so we see why you here. You ain't here to edify nobody. You here to proclaim yourself the greatest.
Right.
That's what you're here for. It's not hard to see this stuff. That's why they don't like me. That's why I got a lot of haters out there. They don't like me because I hold up this book to them like a mirror that reflects the true ugliness inside of them. That's why they don't like me. That's all I do. I just hold that mirror up to their face. They don't really hate me. They hate what I'm showing them about themselves. That's why they get mad. You follow what I'm saying? And they got all this stuff to say once the show get uploaded to YouTube. But ain't nobody gonna call in and be like, this verse don't say that, Josh. That don't line up with the New Testament. I want to see somebody stupid enough to try to do that. That's what I want to see. Because from what I'm seeing, this guy right here sounding a lot like Jesus Christ. And we still ain't even got to the Isaiah 53 portion, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Okay. We're going to read in the Apocrypha, Wisdom chapter 2, verses 14 to 15. Read that.
Wisdom chapter 2, verse 14. He was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us.
Wait a minute. Hold on, wait. He was made to reprove our thoughts. Notice it said this is a man that was made to reprove our thoughts. Change the way we think. Correct the way we think. He was made to reprove our thoughts. Remember this stuff, because we're going to go back to it. Then read the next part of it, verse 15.
He is grievous unto us even to behold, for his life is not like other men. His ways are of another fashion.
Wait a minute, Kev. Wait a minute. It said he is grievous unto us even to behold. That means he is not a pretty sight to look at.
Right.
He's not something that you're going to look at as a thing of beauty. Now, where have we heard that before, Kevin and Jeff? Where does that sound like that came from?
Sound like it came from the New Testament, but I could be wrong.
It does, but what's the other part when they say he's grievous to behold in the Tanakh?
To me, that sounds like... Right. Go ahead, Kev.
Now, go ahead, Jeff. You got it.
No, I was thinking more like when he came into riding on a donkey or something like that.
I'll let y'all know because he's quoting something here. This is Isaiah 53.
Right, straight out of
I'm going to show y'all that. Straight out of the Tanakh. I'm going to show y'all that. But notice the author of wisdom had already came to the conclusion that this is an individual yet to come. So it can't be the nation of Israel, and it can't be any past prophet. We're going to break that down. You follow what I'm saying? Look what it says. He is grievous even to behold, but it says he was made to reprove our thoughts. We're going to break all this down. First, let's go to Matthew chapter 9. And then after we read the one in Isaiah, then we're going to open up the phone for any questions anybody may have thus far. Matthew chapter 9, verses 1 to 6. They think we just some idiots just believe in the New Testament blindly. Like we ain't put it in our homework and did our research. I don't just follow the New Testament blindly. Jesus didn't fulfill everything he said the Messiah was going to fulfill. He sure did. But guess what? Y'all ain't got a Messiah yet that's done anything.
Right.
Anything at all. Some people, like myself, even believe that there were prophecies of the Messiah as early as Genesis. We took out 5,000 plus years, people, and your God hasn't done anything as far as the Messiah is concerned. 5,000 years, and y'all still waiting. Yet they go online and make fun of Christians for waiting on Jesus to return. We ain't been waiting nothing but about 2,000 years. You've been waiting over 5. But you laughing at us?
Right.
That's crazy. In fact, if you don't believe Jesus was the Messiah, what has your God, and I say your God because we don't serve the same God, what has your God done concerning the Messiah since he started making prophecies about him? According to your own doctrine, nothing. Nothing at all. Zero. But y'all want to make fun of us. You follow what I'm saying? And there are other things in the Bible. I did a whole lesson on this. Y'all don't wait no more than just the Messiah. Y'all wait on Elijah. Y'all wait on that prophet in Deuteronomy 18. Because you can't tell me that he and the Messiah are the same individual. Y'all waiting on him. You follow what I'm saying? Y'all waiting on the prophet to resurrect. None of this stuff has happened according to y'all. All your God has done is made empty promises. That's all he's done. He ain't promised nothing. Your God. But you laughing at us. Maybe how long y'all gonna wait? That's a good question. How long y'all gonna wait? Y'all been waiting 5,000 plus years. That's a long time to be waiting on a God that ain't done anything that he's promised. That's a long time. So don't make fun of me for waiting on Jesus to come back when your Messiah ain't ever even showed up. That's crazy. See, it's called hypocrisy, sisters and brothers. And as we move along, I'm going to expose a lot of hypocrisy with these Tanakh-only Hebrews. There's a lot of hypocrisy with these people. I can see the spirit behind them. I know it's a demonic spirit that drives people to be non-messianic. It's full of hypocrisy. There is no way in the world, sisters and brothers, and let me repeat that, no way in the world I would ever attack another belief system with arguments that can be equally used against me. You got to be a complete moron to do stuff like that. You have to be an idiot. How in the world I'm going to go on Facebook and brag and ridicule the Messianics for not knowing specifically who wrote Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? And if you do some research, scholars unanimously pretty much agree that Luke wrote the book of Luke because he also wrote the book of Acts. But even if you don't believe that, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they boast about that. But all the books I named earlier, you can't tell me who wrote them. You can't even tell me who wrote the end of Deuteronomy. Moses wrote the end of Deuteronomy when he was dead. The book of Deuteronomy requires Moses' death. He wrote that? Come on, y'all. You can't tell me who wrote a lot of books in the Old Testament. You can't tell me who the author is, but you believe those books. But you want me to put the New Testament down because only tradition says Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote it. You need to put that down. I don't know who wrote that. Well, who wrote Joshua? Who wrote Judges? I can even prove to you that Moses didn't even write all the numbers. I can prove that to you just by the stuff that's said in it. But you don't hear them saying that's called hypocrisy, sisters and brothers. That's called a double-edged sword doctrine. Only an idiot in absolute fool, a moron, would base a new religious belief system on arguing points that can be used against them too. That's a suicidal doctrine. That's a kamikaze doctrine. That's moronic. When I was on the conference call with Rob Rack, I said you can ask me anything you want to about the New Testament, in the context of discrediting it. Ask me anything you want. First thing he asked me, okay, when was Jesus born? I said it don't specifically say. So he felt a feel of, triumph because I said that until I asked him when was Abraham born? When was Moses born? His feeling of victory immediately fleeted because he knows he can't answer that either.
Right.
But these are the arguing points you're throwing at me. Now, why should I put down the New Testament because I can't answer that question, but you get to hold on to the Tanakh and you can't answer the same question? That's called hypocrisy, sisters and brothers. That's what that's called. Holding other people to standards that you don't hold yourself to. That's called hypocrisy. But, again, I digress just a little bit. Where I said we were going. Matthew chapter 9, is that what I said?
Yeah, chapter 9.
Verses 1 to 6. Read that, Jeff, when you get there, please.
All right. Matthew chapter 9, verse 1. And he entered into a ship and passed over and came into his own city.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, they brought to him a man sick of the palsy, lying on a bed. And Jesus, seeing their faith, said unto the sick of the palsy, Son, be of good cheer, thy sins be forgiven thee.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, certain of the scribes said within themselves, This man blasphemeth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, Wherefore think ye evil in your hearts?
He said, and Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, Why think you evil in your heart? So he's trying to correct the evil they're thinking in their heart. He's trying to correct their thoughts, which means reprove. He knows their thoughts. He's trying to correct their thoughts. Right? He's trying to change the way they think because they were thinking that it was evil for him to say something like this. If I know what somebody is thinking and I think that what they're thinking is wrong, and I say, look, man, I know what you're thinking, but this is how you should think. I'm reproving your thoughts. I'm correcting the way you think. I'm trying to change the way you think. That's exactly what it said in the Apocrypha this man would do. He was made to reprove our thoughts. If you really just get down to it, sisters and brothers, no other book in the Tanakh or in the Apocrypha gives you a clearer picture of the Messiah than the Book of Wisdom. And ironically, it's called the Book of Wisdom, something a lot of these Tanakh only Hebrews lack. Because if you were really reading the Tanakh and the Apocrypha, you would see this stuff too. He was made to reprove our thoughts. Let's see what he did. Go ahead and keep reading.
Verse 5.
6. Oh, yeah,
verse,
5, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Verse 5. For whether it's easier to say, Thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say, Arise and walk, but that ye may know that the Son of Man hath power on earth to forgive sins. Then saith he to the sick of the palsy, Arise, take up thy bed, and go unto thy house.
So the thought he was trying to reprove or correct was the thought of him saying, Thy sins be forgiven thee, which they thought was something only God could do. Well, apparently they were wrong. That's why it says in the Book of Wisdom, he was made to reprove our thoughts. He was made to reprove the way we think. And you can read all up in the New Testament where it says both Jesus' disciples and his enemies, he knew what they were thinking and then he would correct it. Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said this. Jesus, knowing what was in their heart, said that. If I know what you're thinking and I'm constantly correcting you or trying to get you to change the way you think, that means I'm reproving your thoughts. Now, how in the world did the author of the Book of Wisdom know that people would be lying in wait for this righteous man? How did he know that this man would boast that he's the son of God or child of God? How does he know that this man will claim that he has knowledge of God How did this man know that he was going to be rebuking people for transgressing God's law? Y'all talking about the Jews. And how did he know that this man is going to be reproving people's thoughts? And you just happen to turn to the New Testament and it's saying all of that about Jesus. Come on, y'all. That's why you can't stop reading that Malachi. You got to keep reading. But it also said this in Wisdom chapter 2 and verse 15. He is grievous unto us even to behold. For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. Let's look at this grievous to behold part first. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 53. Because now the author of wisdom is drawing from the Tanakh to let us see approximately 200 years before the events in the New Testament took place, the characteristics of the Messiah. This is Isaiah 53. So much for trying to say it's the nation of Israel, because this is an individual. You're going to try to make Wisdom chapter 2 be the nation of Israel? Get real. Be serious. This is an individual. And everything lines up with Jesus. But now, he don't took us back to Isaiah 53, because he said he is grievous to behold. Isaiah 53, just read verses 1 and 2.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 1. Who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed?
Who hath believed our report? They try to tell you the our talking in this verse is the nations. Even though everywhere else you read in the book of Isaiah, when Isaiah says things like us and our, it's always talking about himself and the nation of Israel collectively. But that's not even the point. We can prove that in another class. Read verse 2.
Verse 2. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground.
Mm-hmm.
He hath no form, nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him.
It says, he hath no form, nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. In other words, he's not going to be something you want to look at. He's going to be something that's hard to behold. Wisdom chapter 12, verse 15, he is grievous unto us even to behold. Isaiah 53, verse 2. It says, he have no form nor comeliness, which means beauty, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. Wisdom chapter 12, verse 15. He is grievous unto us even to behold. Y'all ain't going to tell me that this man is not drawing on Isaiah 53. The problem is, by the time the author of wisdom says this, and you see he's drawing on Isaiah 53, you can already see that he's describing no other than Jesus Christ. Which means Isaiah 53 is talking about Jesus Christ. Or you can take the coward's way out and throw out the Apocrypha, which I'm pretty sure most of them are going to do after tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me you don't see this here. This is not a coincidence. I'm not twisting this. But let's go to one more place, breaking this down, and then we're going to open up the phones. Because you know I want to hear from the people. Matthew chapter 9. Because remember, it also said in Wisdom chapter 2, it says, he is not like other men. Like other men, his ways are of another fashion. That means this is talking about an individual. When he comes on the scene, he's not going to be doing the norm. He's going to be doing stuff that people consider to be new, never heard of. If I tell Jeff, man, you ain't like anybody I ever met before, that means I'm telling Jeff I've never seen anything like you. You don't act like anybody else. Your ways are not like anybody else. Look at the characteristics it's given. Now, Matthew 9, 10 to 12. But they don't see this, though, Jeff. They going to pretend like they don't see this.
Right.
My Messianic Hebrews, y'all see it. I know y'all see it. They see it, too. But pride ain't going to let them let go. Pride ain't going to let them let go. They're going to keep on hating on me. They're going to keep on hating on y'all who still believe in the New Testament. But y'all see the truth. Ain't nobody going to call in and try to walk through this with me and try to have some honor and integrity about it and try to pretend like they don't see Jesus here. Everything in here lines up with Jesus. By the time we got within 200 years of the events that took place in the New Testament, our Hebrew forefathers had a pretty good idea about what the Messiah would do. How do y'all think the first century Jews were able to convince people that Jesus was the Messiah? You think our Hebrew forefathers were that stupid? Well, if you go to Matthew chapter 2, he makes a reference to Hosea. That's not a prophecy. That's about the children of Israel. We got a whole class proving how that's the case. We got a class titled Israel, a Living Parable for Jesus Christ. They don't know anything about the living parable concept, which started in the Tanakh.
Right.
They don't know anything about that. It's the living parable concept. What's the living parable concept, sisters and brothers? It's when God would have an individual do things in their individual life which symbolize or point toward something that will happen to Israel later, and vice versa. He will have something happen to Israel that pointed toward an individual or individuals that will happen later. That's called a living parable. Do you think Matthew was so stupid to believe that he could take somebody to Isaiah chapter 7 and try to tell them that referring to Jesus Christ without the Hebrew Israelites already having a background in the living parable foreshadow concept? They would have lied that guy out of the synagogue. That ain't talking about no Jesus. That's talking about when God called Israel out of Egypt. What's wrong with you? They would have lied them out of the synagogue. Paul too. No. They knew the living parable concept, and they knew their audience was familiar with that, and that's all they did was broke that down to them. In another class, we can show you that. These Tanakh-only Hebrews don't understand this stuff. I keep telling y'all, I have better understanding of the Tanakh than them. I don't believe the New Testament because I don't understand the Tanakh. I believe the New Testament because I do understand the Tanakh. That's why I read it and believe it. But I'm going to show y'all this. This is Matthew, chapter 9, 10 and 12. Because it said, 9, verses 10 and 12. Read that, please.
All right. Matthew chapter 9, verse 10. And it came to pass, as Jesus sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto his disciples, why eateth your master with publicans and sinners?
Mm-hmm. It said, why eateth your master with publicans and sinners? Read verse 12.
Verse 12. But when Jesus heard that, he said unto them, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick.
It said they that are whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. It was unheard of for a rabbi or a teacher in Israel during that time because of how self-righteous the Pharisees were, and they separated themselves from the common people. It was unheard of for somebody to sit among sinners like that and yet claim to be a teacher. So that was something new. That's why Wisdom chapter 12 says in verse 15, his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. He was doing something different. But he wasn't going against the law. That's not the difference he was doing, because it told you in his prophecy he was reproving and rebuking people for breaking the law. His ways are not like other men's ways. Let me show you one more with that, and then we're going to go to the phones. Mark chapter 1. We're going to read verses 26 and 27. Jesus was doing new stuff. He wasn't doing normal stuff. It's a lot of times you can read in the New Testament where when Jesus did stuff, both his disciples and his enemies was like, what new thing is this? Like, why are you doing this way? That's what the prophecy said he would be doing. And as we can see, he made a reference back to Isaiah 53, and there's only one person who fit this bill. Y'all can keep waiting on somebody else to come do all this if y'all want to. Y'all can keep on waiting. I already know he don't came and did it. And the New Testament writers recorded that. And then you got idiots walking around. Jesus didn't exist. When there are multiple historical references to the existence of a man named Jesus. Let me give y'all a little fun fact. Did you know, you can look this up for yourself, that the ideal of Jesus not existing at all is a relatively new ideal? Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that there was never a dispute in the time that Jesus walked the earth and centuries after whether he existed or not? The only dispute concerning Jesus Christ was whether he was really the Messiah or if he was really divine. So it's the only thing. It was never a discussion or a dispute of whether he existed or not. That's relatively new. That's something that came in much later times. But while we're on that topic, if you're going to claim that Jesus didn't exist, how can you say that Moses existed when that goes even further back? And there is no secular evidence that indisputably testifies of a man named Moses. And I don't want to hear nobody calling that crap about cutting Moses and all that crap, because that's a theory. You cannot prove that's talking about Moses. Scholars are still undecided on when the Exodus supposedly took place. The Pharaoh who was reigning during the time of the Exodus is not named, nor is the Pharaoh during the time of Joseph not named. So there is no way to pinpoint when and if the Exodus took place. But this is coming from people demanding proof of stuff when their foundation is the Exodus and Moses. But I got secular proof of Jesus that will testify of his existence. I don't care if they believe he was the Messiah. I don't care if they believe that he was God in the flesh or if he was divinely inspired. I don't care. You have no testimony of Moses outside of Hebrew literature. I would love to see it. It ain't going to hurt me because I believe in the Old Testament too. But I would love to see it. But you're going to try to tell me, oh, you shouldn't believe in that New Testament because Jesus didn't exist. Only fools say Jesus didn't exist. Only people who dropped out of high school say Jesus didn't exist. Only people who don't even know how to pick up a freaking history book say Jesus didn't exist. Jesus is as established in history as anybody of that time period. There was never a dispute of whether Jesus existed or not. The dispute was always if he was really sent from God. That was the dispute. But this is, where I say we're going to go. Yeah, Mark, chapter 1, 26 and 27. Read that, please, Jeff.
You sure you don't want me to start from 25, brother?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, 25 to 27. Appreciate that.
All right, no problem. Mark chapter 1, verse 25. And Jesus rebuked him, saying, hold thy peace and come out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And when the unclean spirit had torn him and cried with a loud voice, he came out of him.
So Jesus just cast out a demon. That's what he did. Now, watch how the people react to this. Verse 27, read that.
And they were all amazed, insomuch that they questioned among themselves, saying, what thing is this? What new doctrine is this? For with authority commandeth he, even the unclean spirits, and they do obey him.
Look what it says. And they were all amazed insomuch that they questioned among themselves, saying, what is this? What new doctrine is this? When you call something new, sisters and brothers, this is for all my people with common sense. When you call something new, that means it's not the norm. It's not something you see or have been seeing every day. So when you go to the book of Wisdom, chapter 2, and it says in verse 15, for his life is not like other men's. His ways, it says his ways are of another fashion. And then it says, with authority commandeth he even the unclean spirits, and they do obey him. And in the other gospel, you can read where it says that he taught with authority. And they said, what new doctrine is this? Or what new thing is this? If you're seeing somebody and everything they're doing is amazing you and going against the norm of the religious leaders of that day, you're going to say he's not like them. He's different from them. In other words, he's a different fashion. His ways are not our ways. He don't think the way we think. In fact, he's trying to reprove our thoughts. Y'all trying to tell me y'all don't see Jesus here. Y'all trying to tell me that. I mean, I really want a Tanakh only Hebrew to call in and tell me we cannot see the New Testament Jesus here. I want them to just really just try and explain to me why. I would really love to see that. So for now, Sal, let's take a break and go to the phones and take a couple of calls. Then we'll get back at this.
All right, people, this is the Q&A segment of Debate Talk for You. For those who just joined in, today's show is entitled, Jesus Christ Foretold in the Apocrypha. My special guest is Brother Josh from Absolute Bible Truth. The number is 646-716-7320. Everybody knows that this part of the show is my favorite part of the show. I like to hear from the people out there on social media, people overseas checking out the show. The only rule that I have is when you call in, please keep it clean, keep it professional. There are people that call listening to the show with their children, with the elderly, so keep it clean, keep it professional, foul language. So let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to the first person up. Let's go to 443-939. You're live in air.
Hey, what's up, fellas? This is Jeff calling out of Maryland, man. Of course, I don't oppose anything. I just want to say what's up, Josh? What's up, Jeff? What's up, Kevin? And I just want to say, man, you got to stop being the Debo of these scriptures, man. You're going around here taking these cash chapters out, these non-messianics. The whole book going to be a chapter short after tonight. You know what I mean? And we know it. Just keep on doing what you do, man.
Praise God. Appreciate it.
All right, once again, people, this is your time. Call in with your questions and your comments. We have more people standing by. And we appreciate those people that were standing by waiting patiently. A lot of people were standing by, but some people didn't have the patience enough to wait. So for those that actually remained and waited for this particular segment, the Q&A segment, we appreciate you guys. Let's go to the next person. Let's go to 281-794. You're live on air.
What's happening?
Peace.
Hey, peace.
How you doing? This is Black Jesus Minister. Brother Josh.
Black Jesus Minister.
You did an excellent job, brother. That non-messianic doctrine is demonic and from the pit of hell. And all you fellow Negroes and all you fellow Hebrews, y'all better wake the hell up and stop being some fools. And stop sitting there eating up these lies about Jesus ain't the Messiah. We're in the last days, and the revelation is being fulfilled before our very eyes. So, dear brother, you did another excellent job. I love you, and I love your ministry. Keep on doing what you're doing. And with that last note, dear brother, I'm still expecting you to stop running, dear brother, because we get it on. We got to get it on, and we got to edify the people. And I'm asking you to.
I already said I would debate you. You ran because you didn't like the title.
Okay. Well, let me go ahead and tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, since your ministry is called the Absolute Bible Truth. No, brother, I did not run. I said that I disagreed with your teaching, which is false teaching, that the mark of the beast is not real. You say that it's symbolic. I say that it is real. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, that's what you teach. Hold on. That's what you teach. And I'm telling you that is false teaching. I want to challenge you on that for the body of believers. Now, hold on.
Wait, jump in there. Jump in here.
One at a time. Good.
Sal, please. Yeah. I'm asking you, Sal. Will you because you set up these debates. Tell the people, if you will, Sal, why me and Black Jesus Minister debate did not happen. Please tell the people so they won't think I'm making this up. Will you please tell the people? Because you are biased. You ain't got no reason to lie for either one of us.
Yeah, usually when this happens, that means both parties didn't come to an agreement to the title. So that's why we couldn't really set up a debate. That's what the issue was.
Sal, did I agree to debate him?
Yes, you agreed to debate him, but the brother basically had issues with the title, and we couldn't come to an agreement. That was the whole issue. We couldn't come to an agreement for the title.
So don't call in telling people I'm running. You asked me to debate you. You challenged me. I said I agree. You even picked the topic. I said I agree. I gave you two things that you wanted. You can't have everything. If you're gonna pick the topic and you get the challenge. And all I want to do is pick the title, and the title was The Mark of the Beast, Trick or Choice, meaning I believe that we're going to have a choice. We're not going to be tricked into taking the mark. My belief is when the mark is presented to us, you're going to already have to deny your God first before you accept a mark. It's literal. That's my belief. Your belief is we're going to get duped into taking it, and then you have no idea about it. and then later on, you're going to find out that, you were tricked into taking something that you had no conscious decision or knowledge of. So all I said was that I will debate you because I don't want to use the same title that Sal has. He's already had 2 Mark of the Beast debates on this show, both with the same title. I'm coming at it with a different angle, so I want to spice things up, change things up a little bit. That's all I asked from the brother. I let him pick the debate. I accepted his challenge ahead of a lot of other people that wanted to get at me, I might add. Even ahead of Rod Rack. He challenged me before Rod Rack did. Even ahead of Rod Rack. Even Rod Rack said he cool with whatever title I picked. That's how somebody acts who really want to debate you. They're not going to sit over here and tell everybody, hey, I want to debate him, he running for me, you running for me, and then fall back because they don't like the title. And even Sal said what you believe will come out in the debate. Is it a trick or is it a choice? So until you tell these people the truth that you challenge me and then change your mind because you didn't like the title I selected, that's one thing I wanted. You wanted 2 things. I gave you 2 things you wanted. I can't get 1. You can't be greedy, bro. You ain't even earned the right to challenge a top contender like that because you ain't really done much on Debate Talk for you. But I said because you came to me correct, I will debate you. But we got to make a deal, bro. You give some, I give some. But I gave you 2 things. I couldn't get 1. So I'm not going to sit up here and try to convince the people on what happened. If you feel that way, then agree. I accept your challenge. I'm saying this in front of everybody, provided you agree to the title, which should be a bigger deal for somebody who really want to get at me. So, Sal, you can go on to the next call. I'm not going to sit up here and argue with this guy about something that he know how it went down. Now he want to come on here and try to front. Come on now.
All right, people, once again, the phone lines is open. We're going to the people out there. Again, the number is 646-716-7320. This is Debate Talk Radio. And shout out to the people out there that's making comments on social media and, of course, sharing it on their personal page. We appreciate the people creating awareness of Debate Talk Radio. But let's go to the next person. Let's go to 816-278. You're live on air.
Hey, how's it going out there? Can you hear me? All right, wonderful, wonderful. My name is Donald, calling out of Kansas City, Missouri. And, man, I wanted to ask a question because I'm Messianic. I also follow the Torah. But I get in a lot of debates, talking with a lot of Old Testament Hebrew brothers, in particular Isaiah 53, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, in Isaiah 53, the name Israel is nowhere mentioned in that whole verse, or that whole chapter, excuse me. But they seem to think that Isaiah 53 is either talking about Israel, King Ahaz, or King Hezekiah. And I am trying to figure out how would King Hezekiah or King Ahaz be called Mighty God, Wonderful Counselor? You know, I'm trying to figure this one out. Where are they getting that information that this could be Hezekiah or Ahaz?
Well, to be more specific, that's how they interpret Isaiah chapter 9. I've never seen a Tanakh-only Hebrew interpret Isaiah 53 to be referring to King Hezekiah or King Ahaz. But I have seen them interpret Isaiah chapter 9 to be that. And to be perfectly honest with you, where they're getting this from, Jewish commentaries. I have a Stone's edition Tanakh right now. And we can turn to Isaiah chapter 9, and I can read for you verbatim where they're getting that from. Because when you try to take Jesus out of Isaiah 53, then you're forced with proving or explaining who it's talking about. When you try to say it's the nation of Israel, you have a problem. Because the nation of Israel don't fit the bill, especially when they talk about how righteous this person was. Israel have never been described as righteous as a nation. You follow what I'm saying? Ever. And even in the same book of Isaiah, like a chapter later, because it tells you that this suffering servant, there was no deceit found in his mouth. And like a chapter or a couple of chapters later, it's calling Israel a bunch of lying people. You follow what I'm saying? So the fact of the matter is, and then on top of that, they will tell you, and this is my favorite part, they will say that no man can die for another man's sin. That's against Tanakh, and I can prove to you that that's a lie. But they will tell you that Isaiah 53 is talking about the nation of Israel. Okay, that's fine, but that still don't take away from the fact that it said this man going to die for the transgressions of other people. So one person can't die for the sins of others. That's against Tanakh. But I guess 1 billion people is not against Tanakh dying for the other people. So you still can't get away from the sacrificial element that's in Isaiah 53. And I'm going to be back, and I'm going to do more stuff on Isaiah 53 to show you that these Tanakh-only Hebrews are deliberately distorting the overall meaning of Isaiah 53 to try to run from the New Testament. I can prove that very easily.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate you answering my question. My next question is when do these debate talks take place? What's the actual schedule? Because I just happened to just be on Facebook and I saw it and I dialed in.
Well, all you got to do is just keep doing that. Just keep tuning in to the same place you went on Facebook, and Sal, the host of this show, he schedules and posts all debates so we can know, like, at least sometimes as early as 2 weeks to a month ahead of time when these debates. So just keep tuning in on Facebook, and you'll stay ahead of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, also, what you can do is what you can do if you want to check out the archives, go to www.blogtalkradio.com/debate talk, the number 4, and the letter U. If you want to check out the show any further, or go to YouTube and type in, Debate Talk for You, and you'll see all the show pop up. So we appreciate you tuning in, though. But, guys, yes, sir, you wanted to ask that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I got some more, but I'm going to let somebody else go. Thank you so much.
All right, we appreciate you for tuning in. All right, once again,
we also have Sabbath classes. Let me just throw this out here, too, Sal. We also, ABT has Sabbath classes every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on BlogTalk Radio, just like you calling in now. And our number is 646-716-8249. I'm talking to the brother who just called in. And anybody else who may be interested, BlogTalk Radio every Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 646-716-8249. Sorry to interrupt you, Sal. I just wanted to put that out there.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, we appreciate that, man. Appreciate you calling in. Again, it's your time, people. We're going to take a few more calls, and we have a lot more time for the brother to go further into the lesson. Jesus Christ foretold in the Apocrypha. Again, the number is 646-716-7320. And this show is archived, so you can always go back and check it out later on and then hear what the people said and hear the lesson as well. So we're going to go back to the phone lines and see what you guys got to say. Again, keep it clean, keep it professional. Let's go to 404-993, live on the air.
What's going on, Sal? What's going on, Josh? It's Mr. DeAndre in the building. What's up?
What's up, Mr. DeAndre?
How you feeling?
Hey, man. Hey, bro. Josh, you know what time it is, man. Hey, listen, man. I listen, man, to a lot of these folks be talking crazy. And you know what? Prophets have to be fulfilled. Y'all know prophets have to be fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? The book said no other foundation can be laid other than Yahushua HaMashiach. The book says that. He said he comes in the volume of the book. You think the volume of the book was just 66? Like you said,
nope.
He prophesied in Enoch. He prophesied in Wisdom of Solomon. He prophesied in the Ascension of Isaiah. He prophesied in all the books. A lot of books is out there. You know, a lot of people don't even know about. But I don't read a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why a lot of these guys, brother, can't see plain scripture is because they have closed their eyes and they have closed their ears, and the Most High won't let them see the truth.
Exactly.
They got to be in that situation. They got to be in that situation. He ain't going to get understand. You know, I get sick and tired of these people coming on Sal's show trying to glorify themselves. I was just talking about that to another brother the other day. It gets me ticked off. All you want to do is come on Debate Talk for You and glorify yourself and try to make a name for yourself. Because you were nothing in high school. You ain't did anything in your life. You trying to find a stage to put yourself on, and you use the word of the Most High. But this ain't the arena for that.
Oh, man.
This ain't the arena for that, man. This is life and death.
True.
And you coming on this show and people, thousands of people listening. People so confused nowadays. Satan got people so confused, they don't know where to turn. And that's the way he wants it. As long as you confused and ain't in the truth, he still got you where he wants you. Mm-hmm. And I just think, you know what I'm saying, when people, brothers like Josh come on here, man, myself, other brothers that come on here and teach the truth to the people. Uncut. You know what I'm saying? Bringing it straight up.
Bring it up.
And it's plain. You can see this is my 8-year-old daughter can see this.
It's there.
I mean, it's crazy. I don't mean to get hyped, but hey, man, y'all know I've been gone for a while.
Mr. DeAndre, while you're here, man, I'm glad you called in because I was gonna mention this during this time period, right? I had been talking to Minister DeAndre. I've been keeping in touch with him, y'all, ever since the brother fell ill, and the Most High delivered him out of it in the most miraculous of ways. It's undoubtedly to me a modern day miracle because I actually did research on his condition, and it's a very low survival rate. You follow what I'm saying? And this brother made it. And I was talking to him, and you know the discussion going to come up about how the people been looking out for you, since he made that, announcement. The brother came out, and the man asked everybody, he's a cancer survivor. You follow what I'm saying? And that just feels good for me to just say that, because most of the time we hear the C word. Have y'all, just get off the topic a little bit, did y'all know that cancer is such an epidemic that people don't even like to say the word? It's like taboo. People like you got the big C. They don't even want to say it. It's almost like you so scared to say it because you might catch it. You follow what I'm saying? But the brother came on here and he made people know of a GoFundMe account, www.gofundme.com/QZ4SEBBC. Again, that's www.gofundme.com/QZ4SEBBC. And the man asked basically just to give whatever you got. Stanley did a announcement earlier on a recording, that Sal played, just asking everybody for $1 to support Sal. Now, I'm pretty sure that we're probably got thousands of people listening right now. And the man, if everybody just gave this man $1, he could easily come up on $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000. And nobody seems to care. You follow what I'm saying? I know if it were me, I would ask and I would hope that if everybody just gave $1, it's not that hard to do. You can go to the man GoFundMe account and try to help the brother out because he's a recovering cancer patient. He beat this thing. I mean, you should want to give just as a testimony to the miracle of God delivering this man. That's the way I look at it. So I'm just asking everybody, just taking a little side note, open up your heart to the brother because you never know. You might be in that same situation, and when you down, everybody wants somebody to help them. You got to put yourself in other people's shoes sometimes. Help that brother out. The man still recovered. He just got out the hospital a couple of days ago. You know what I'm saying? The recovering part, and Minister DeAndre will tell you himself, sometimes worse than the actual cancer. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just putting that out there. I'm not trying to lay no guilt trip on nobody. That ain't what I do. I'm just asking people, if you can, give at least $1. If everybody gave $1 tonight, that man could probably, that's a car note, a house note, whatever. I don't know who the personal bills are, but I'm just putting that out there. I don't mean to digress too much, but I just want to put that out there. And I appreciate you calling in too, brother.
Oh, no doubt, bro. No doubt. And those of y'all, I'm still in?
Yeah, you still in. I hear you.
Oh, those of y'all that have donated, and I know who you are because, thank y'all, man. I appreciate you. Your prayers and your support. Like you said, I just got home Monday from the hospital. I was in the hospital 13 days. I had an issue with my stomach. It was, it's a part of the recovery process. But I'm upbeat. My faith ain't been moved. I know I'm healed. Ain't no remission. Ain't no regressing and cancer coming back. None of that stuff. It's all going forward. It's just still going through the recovery process. That's why I'm taking my time. I haven't did any YouTube videos. I haven't, did any teachers like that. Of course, I'm still reading and still studying. But I just haven't been able to get, on the forums right now, because it's not that time right now. But I assure you that I'm coming back. And I'm coming back full of zeal and full of the love and the truth. So y'all just stay tuned. And like I said, those of you that from the heart that want to give, like I said, only $1. We got thousands of people that's listening in. $1, a bag of chips costs $1. Just give $1, man.
Right.
If it's in your heart to give $1, give $1. If you don't want to give nothing, hey, that's fine too. Those of you that support, I thank you. I love you. And Josh, continue to bring that truth, brother. All right? We'll be talking.
Praise God. Thank you.
All right, once again, it's Debate Talk Radio, and me and Minister DeAndre had a call talk too a few days about that as well. The people out there, we need to support each other more. You know how it is when it comes to donations and things of that nature. When it comes to our people, we need to to support each other. If you're listening to the show, you like what you hear, of course, show your support. You know, that's the only way we're going to grow and expand, things of that nature. And do me a favor, get a pen and pad, right? I'm going to just play this commercial for those who are unaware, the first-time listeners out there who want to donate. You know, you can actually write down this GoFundMe account and see your donation in right away. Let's play this commercial real quick.
Holy greetings to you all. This is Minister DeAndre from Heirs of the Promise Ministries. It's been a while since the Debate Talk for You audience has heard from me. That's because on this year, April 8th, 2015, I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, also called ALL. And also, I found out I had a chromosome called the Philadelphia chromosome, which meant I would have to have a stem cell bone marrow transplant. Well, through the Be the Match registry, worldwide registry, the doctors did find me a 100% unrelated donor, and I had that stem cell bone marrow transplant on July 18th of this year. And I'm proud to say, through the grace and mercy and healing power of the Most High, I am cancer-free. Hallelujah. Now I need you guys, the Debate Talk for You audience, to go to my GoFundMe account, GoFundMe.com/QZ4SEBVC. That's GoFundMe.com/QZ4SEBVC and give a donation, and I would appreciate it, your love and support. I'm looking forward to coming minister to you guys in the near future. Peace and blessings to you all.
All right, once again, people, show your support. Even the 50 cents. They're already saying 50 cents. You know how much of a difference you guys can make? You know, 50 cents to $1, that's literally nothing. So, again, show your support, you know, to the brother. And we appreciate you guys for tuning into Debate Talk for You Radio. But let's get back to it. Again, this is Jesus Christ Foretold in the Apocrypha. Again, the number is 646-716-7320. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to call in. Let's keep it clean, keep it professional, no foul language, of course. We have people listening with the kids. You know, we love the kids out here. Debate Talk for You Radio. Let's go to the phone line, 678-544. You're live in the air.
Hey, Shalom, this award is Swartzman. Yeah, I want to say, it's a good class. Let me say this to you, Josh. I think you're a good teacher, man. You're all right, but last show you did about the African, I seen you say something about me in your debate, and you be popping shots, you know, when you do your show. And if you're going to pop shots, get in the lion's cage. That's all I'm saying. When I do shows, I don't say nothing about what me and you go through. I mean, me and you have differences, but I look at you as a brother still, and I don't disrespect you like that. But I just had a problem with that. Now, another thing I want to ask you is this guy named, this guy that he said that's in your school that I don't think he deal with you no more, named Joel. I wanted to know about him. Yeah, because I want to debate him because I think he don't believe in Christ, and I just wanted to know what happened with him. With your school.
There's no thinking about it. He doesn't believe in the Messiah. He got a whole video on his YouTube channel. It's titled "Why I'm No Longer a Christian," and by Christian he means why I no longer believe in the New Testament. That's what he's saying, right? And when he left from my school, he was Messianic. This is something he picked up like 3 or 4 years later after he left from ABT. You know what I mean? And he took down a lot of his videos. It's pretty recent. The brother ain't even been publicly non-Messianic for like 4 months now. I mean, this is new, and he's one of the brothers. They want to come right on here and try to push this non-Messianic doctrine. Now he wants to be a face on Debate Talk for You, when back in the day, you know what I'm saying, I don't recall him really coming on here and doing much. So I don't really know anything about him after he left ABT. When he left ABT, he more or less continued to believe the same thing we believe. This came as a shock to us too when he came out and announced that. But I already could see in his first video when he was talking about his journey, and I had told people ahead of time when I first saw that video, he's going to say he's non-Messianic now because that's the new fad that's going on, you know, this whole non-Messianic thing. But that's his story. You can challenge him, but, I mean, that's something you got to do with foul about. I don't think I know about him is that he's pretty much saying the same thing the rest of these Tanakh only Hebrews are saying. And as far as me mentioning you in a class I did, it's only in the context. I don't slander nobody. I don't badmouth people. When you badmouth somebody, that means you're speaking like wrong about them. In the class that I did, I showed that God cares about Africans. I proved that emphatically. Now, if you disagree with that, if you disagree that God had to care about the Egyptians, as it clearly states in the book of Genesis, if he saved them, if you disagree with that, then your problem is not with me. The problem is with your God. Because that's what your Old Testament says.
Right. Can I respond?
Do you agree with that? Do you agree
I agree with
or disagree?
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. That was my point. I agree with what you said, and I was against Zaryak when the way he did that and his understanding, how he taught. And I agree with you like that, and I was kind of pissed off because you kind of paint all Israelites with the same brush. And there's a lot of stuff I don't agree with them on. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm about that book. I'm not about friendships and going with the curve. So that's why I was offended.
Actually, I don't paint all Israelites. Every time, if you listen to any debate I do, I always say most or majority. I never paint everybody. Now, if you are under the understanding that God does love Africans and he don't hate them just for, like when I say love Africans, I mean the general love that God has for mankind. God does hate people. We know that. We agree on that. But my understanding is he only hates people who knowingly goes against his word, consciously goes against his word. There is nobody on this planet, including the so-called Edomite or the so-called white man, that God hates simply because they are a certain race. He only hates people who consciously go against his word or refuse to hear his word. That is my stance. Now, if your stance is exactly as that, then I apologize because I had you pegged wrong. But if not, then we need to get together and we need to discuss that.
Well, Psalms, he said he hated his own inheritance, which was Israel too. So that's why I agree with you on that, your works, But, yeah, well, it was just a misunderstanding.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was under the impression that you would like a One West doctrine, but, hey, if I misrepresented your view in any way, because in the past you have heavily implied that you believe that only Israelites could get salvation. We've even debated on this stuff before. So unless you turned or even after debating you, I still had a misimpression, that's my apology. But if you're going on the record now, a Water Swordsman is going on the record now saying that he believes that anybody can get salvation or be saved, whether they are an Israelite or not, then I commend you for that. Is that what you're going on the record saying right now?
No. See, that's a whole different. I don't want to sway you from your topic.
Then I don't. Well, see, brother, then I did misrepresent your view, bro. That's what I'm saying. That's a simple yes or no.
No,
that's a simple yes or no. See?
No, let me give one little sample. You know why I say that? I'm gonna tell you why. Because when you read Romans 11, it tell you about the salvation of the Gentiles, and then when you go to Isaiah 62:11, it tell you about the salvation of Israel in the end. So there's two different salvations, and then salvation have a high understanding of what it means. It can mean rulership as well. So that's why I don't agree with that. We're dealing with that.
When I say salvation, I mean being saved, not going to be condemned. That's what I mean. And I do not hold the view that every single non-Israelite is going to be enslaved. The Bible don't speak against two salvations. It don't speak of that. It speaks of one salvation. When the Messiah came on the scene, he was talking about salvation in general. He didn't mention a salvation for Israel and a salvation for the Gentiles. He taught salvation in general terms. That's what I'm talking about.
But you know why I say that's not true? Because when you go to Isaiah 63 and you read it, the Messiah himself says, I bought salvation with my own arm. He talks of his salvation. So that's why I don't agree with that. But
totally different scenario. See, your problem is every time you see salvation in the Bible, you want to make it be salvation in the sense of that one place you read it at. That's another misunderstanding of Tanakh. The Bible speaks of salvation. I can show you when he brought the children of Israel out of Egypt. He called that salvation. Surely that's not the same salvation that Jesus talked about, is it?
Right, but that's my point. Salvation is used in certain contexts, like in Isaiah 63, Romans 11:11. When he said that, he was talking about the salvation of the Gentiles. You have to explain that. How did they get salvation?
I can explain that, but like you said, that's another class. I can show you that when it says salvation, it means in general terms. What I want you to do for me, a Water Swordsman, I want you to do the same thing for me that Raheem did that one time. I want me and you to do a show together where all you do is question me, and I will break everything down to you. That's all you do the whole show is just question me. Me and you. Would you be willing to do something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Sal, we'll go behind the scenes and we'll set that thing up.
All right, we'll make that happen once again. All right, we have like 52 minutes on the air. What I'm going to do, of course, I'm going to take maybe 2 more questions. If we have a lot of people standing by, then stand by. We're going to take some more questions later on. I'm going to take 2 more, and after that, we're going to go further into the lesson, and then we're going to take some more questions later on. Again, you know that number, 646-716-7320. Let's go to the next person. Let's go to 281-794. You're live on air. You're live on Debate Talk for You. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's happening, Sam?
What's going on, man?
That's an
all right.
SO.
This is.
Oh, wow. He just hung up himself. It's crazy. His call dropped. Oh, boy. Call back, brother. When you get a chance, just call right back, man. All right, once again, the number is 646-716-7320. Take another call. Let's go to 413-204. You're live on the air.
Shalom. This is Pinckney Salisbury Jr.
Hey, what's happening?
Wondering about Isaiah 53, and you read 9 and 10, correct?
In Isaiah 53? No, I read verses 1 and 2.
Okay. Do you subscribe to 9 and 10 as being Jesus?
Yes, I do.
Have you read it in the Septuagint?
Yes, I have.
So it doesn't match the KJV.
No, not completely. Nope. Would you like me to read it for you? Septuagint? I have it.
Yeah, I'll read it for you right now. Okay. I'll read it for you.
Let me follow along with you. Let me turn that with
Sure.
you. Okay.
I'll start with 9.
Isaiah 53, 9 and 10.
All right. And I will give the wicked for his burial, and the rich for his death. For he practiced no iniquity.
Yeah, hold on. I'm hearing the echo. Yeah, can you take it on speakerphone? Maybe you have it on speakerphone?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Echo.
How's that?
Yeah, I'm still hearing the echo. I guess everybody mute your mics, and then when you're done, we'll come back on. Okay.
Yes. Hello? I'm not on speaker. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I'm still hearing the echo. Hold on. Let's see something. Maybe it's a blog talk thing. You know what? I will try to get back to you, brother. I'm on a special walk for this. Okay, I'm hearing my echo too all of a sudden. All right, let's go to the next phone line. Let's see if there's a difference. Let's go to 443-619. You're live on air.
Yeah, how you doing, Showtime? And what's up, brother Josh? It's your boy Soul and Black. I wanted to ask you guys a question, Josh. Do you teach on the order of Melchizedek? Do you have any clues or information or classes on that?
Oh, Melchizedek?
Yes.
Yes, I'm trying to see if I got any on the online store. But I did a class a long time ago. I would have to look into that, but I've done classes on Melchizedek before, plenty of them. You follow what I'm saying? So right now I can't say for certain that I got some on my online store, but I definitely have done some. I'm going to have to check and get back to you on that.
Okay, that sounds good. Let me know where you still got your YouTube channel? I just want to make sure I get the same YouTube channel. It's at
Teacher 3010.
Okay. All right. Thank you, brother. You guys go ahead and take it easy. I'm gonna get off the phone. That's all I had to ask.
All right.
I appreciate that. Actually, Jeff, when I muted your mic, the echo stopped, so it's coming from your area. But let me go back to that caller. Let's go back to 413-204. Go ahead.
Yeah, still on.
Shalom.
Hello? Shalom?
Yeah, still back on. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So I'll start at 9 again. Isaiah 53, verse 9, and I will give the wicked for his burial and the rich for his death, for he practiced no iniquity, nor craft in his mouth. 10, the Lord also is pleased to purge him from his stroke. If he can give an offering for sin, your soul shall see a long-lived seed. That does not match the KJV or Christians' idea of Jesus.
No, it doesn't. But do you know why that is? Because I do.
Sure.
Do you know why?
I do. Can you go to Jeremiah 24?
Can you explain why? Is Jeremiah 24 going to explain why this reads differently?
Yes, it will. Jeremiah 24 and...
So Jeremiah 24 is going to say
Isaiah
53 reads differently because that's what Jeremiah 24 is going to say.
I'll read it for you.
I'm just asking you. I mean, you just taking me to a scripture and you're telling me it's going to explain why this reads differently in the KJV. See, the reason why I'm asking
because this is the oldest. You know about this being the oldest version of the Tanakh.
And I sure do. And I also know that the early Christians were using the Septuagint, this same version, the first century Jews, and they still interpreted this to be messianic. You can look that up. The first Christians were Jews. They were Israelites. And they were reading the Septuagint.
I'm aware of that. I'm cognizant of that.
Okay, and also while we're at it, if you know anything about the translation of the Septuagint, when it got translated from Hebrew to Greek, everybody listening, look this up. It's not my opinion. A lot of times they didn't do verse-by-verse translation. They did what they call rabbinate, however you pronounce that word. Well, the interpretations of the rabbi's understanding. In other words, it wasn't a verse-by-verse translation. Sometimes in the Septuagint, they translated things based on their understanding. A modern-day book that does the same thing is the New Living Translation, and it tells you that in the introduction. And if you do the research on the Septuagint, that's what they did a lot of times in the Septuagint. They didn't always give you a verse-by-verse translation, so that's why things read a little differently sometimes.
Well, let me just read 24 real quickly, 1 through 3 of Jeremiah.
Jeremiah 24, 1 through 3, okay. Okay.
All right. The Lord showed me 2 baskets and figs lying in front of the temple of the Lord after Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried captives Jeconiah, son of Joachim, king of Judah, and the princes and the artificers and the prisoners and the rich men out of Jerusalem. And he had brought them to Babylon. The one basket was full of very good figs, and as early figs, and the other basket was full of very bad figs, which could not be eaten for their badness. And the Lord said to me, What seest thou, Jeremiah? And I said, Figs, the good figs very good, and the bad figs very bad, which cannot be eaten for their badness. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, as these good figs, so will I acknowledge the Jews that have been carried away captive, whom I have sent forth out of this place into the land of the Chaldeans for good. So they are going with the bad, and the bad will be for their burial, and the rich men, as mentioned in Jeremiah 24, for the grave.
Okay, so are you trying to say that Isaiah 53 was fulfilled here?
Yes.
Okay, now back to the Septuagint. Let's go back to Isaiah. We're going to read out the Septuagint.
I just read it out of the Septuagint, Jeremiah 24.
No. I mean back to Isaiah 53 out of the Septuagint. I was following along with you. I'm still in the Septuagint with you.
Oh, sure.
Isaiah 53, right? You with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, pick it up at verse 1. We're going to go this verse by verse. Let's go verse 1.
Well, shouldn't you start a little earlier, like 52?
Isaiah 53 and verse 1. See,
I went
where you want to win. Now you want me to bag up and start where you got to understand something. I already know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that the suffering servant is the nation of Israel. I already get that. So you ain't got to come out subtle and just be like, read this, read that. Just come out and be like, hey, I believe the suffering servant is the nation of Israel.
Start at one. Start at one.
And here's
start
why.
At one.
I mean, come on.
Yes,
let's
sir. Okay, start at one. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
53 and 1. Let me get there with you. Okay, let's see. 53, that's XL, L333. Hold on 1 second. You know we got the same Septuagint, so we're dealing with these Roman numerals. Okay, Isaiah 53 and verse 1. Okay, I'm going to read. O Lord, who have believed our report. Now, according to you, this to say the people, the time and agony, you're saying that the hour speaking here is the nations, right?
Sure.
Yes, no.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
I know you're listening. I'm trying to make sure where you're coming from. Don't try to act like you don't hear me, bro. Do you believe that the hour here is the nations? That's how we learn. When you read a verse to me, you ask me to read Isaiah 53, 9 and 10. You ask me, did I believe that was Jesus? I said yes. Now I'm doing the same thing to you, and you won't answer me. That's the thing right there.
Yes, I believe that's the nations. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Let's not play games here. Look what it says. O Lord, who have believed our report. Now what we're going to do is we're going to substitute the nations everywhere we read this, because that's what you say that is. So every time we read this, it should line up all the way down. And we're reading it in the Septuagint, right? So, O Lord, who have believed the nation's report, and to whom have the arm of the Lord been revealed? I know you'll go back to Isaiah 52 and say the arm of the Lord was revealed to the nations. I already know you still. You know what I'm saying? Look what it says right here. We, the nations, brought a report as of a child before him. He, talking about Israel, according to you, Israel is as a root in a thirsty land. Israel had no form nor comeliness. And when we, the nations, saw him, he, Israel, had no form nor beauty. But his form, Israel's form, was ignoble and inferior to that of the children of men. He, Israel, was a man in suffering and acquainted with bearings of sickness. For his face is turned from us. For Israel's face, right, is turned from us. Israel was dishonored and not esteemed. Israel bare our sins. Wait a minute. Israel is bearing the nation's sins? Okay, let's keep reading. And is paying for us, the nations. Yet we, the nation, accounted Israel, him, to be in trouble and in suffering and in affliction. But he, Israel, was wounded on account of the nation's sins, right? And was bruised because of the nation's iniquity. The chastisement of our peace, the nation, was upon Israel. The chastisement of the nation's peace was upon Israel? Is there anywhere in the Tanakh where I can read that God is going to punish Israel for the sins of the nations when every Tanakh-only Hebrew tells you that God never even dealt with any other nation? So how can he punish Israel for the sins of the nations? Somebody might argue, well, they were supposed to teach the nations. Well, you got some non-Messianic Hebrews that believe they were supposed to teach the nations, and some of them don't. Which view do you hold before I continue? Do you hold the view that Israel was supposed to teach the nations?
Well,
yes,
yeah. Can we go up to 52:15?
No, I'm asking you a question, bro. I'm asking you, do you hold the view that Israel was supposed to teach the nations?
Let me just read this first.
No.
See,
no, I'm not skipping. I'm reading verse by verse. You started at verses 9 and 10, but I can't start at verse 1. When you went at 9 and 10, I didn't say, hey, brother, can you start at verse 3? Now I'm reading something to you, and everywhere you went, when you went to Jeremiah, I let you go right from where you want to go. But you want to call in and direct where I go.
No, I didn't direct anything.
I said you want to.
Thus shall many nations wonder at him.
And
many nations wonder at him, and the king shall keep their mouth shut.
Sal, do you see what he's doing? He's being disrespectful. Sal, please mute this guy.
Yeah, he didn't like where that was going, clearly.
You see that? See, this is what I'm talking about right here, people. This is what I'm talking about. He called in. He asked me to read something. I read along with him. I even offered to read. He said, I'll read it. He said, do you believe that that's Jesus Christ? I said, yes. When he read something, starting at verse 1, I said, do you believe that the hour, speaking in verse 1, are the nations? So just keep reading. Wait a minute. Y'all don't see the double standard that these people try to call in with. Every time they ask me a question, I answer it. Honestly. I ask them a question, they want to beat around the bush and don't want to answer nothing. Then When he asked me to read something, he went to Jeremiah. I let him read from verse 1, read right along with him. Everywhere he wanted to go, I let him go from the verse he wanted to go to. When it's my turn, let's go back to Isaiah 52. Let's start up here. I already know your argument. You're going to go to Isaiah 52 and say, whom was the arm of the Lord revealed? The arm of the Lord was revealed to the nations. Therefore, in 53 and 1, when it says, to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? The arm of the Lord is revealed to the nations. But that does not mean that Isaiah 53 and 1 means the nations are talking. And then he wants to read out the set. I'm going to keep reading, though. I want to keep reading this, right? Verse, we're going to start like at, where are we going? Okay, we stopped at verse 5. He bare our sins, the nations, and is paying for us, the nations. Notice he didn't even want to tell you if he believed or held to the view that Israel was supposed to teach the nations. Because if he say they were supposed to teach the nations, then he could say that since they didn't do their job, they were punished for the sins of the nations. But if he don't think that Israel was supposed to teach the nations, then why is God punishing Israel for the sins of the nations? If God never meant for the nations to know anything about him nor anybody from Israel to teach him. That's why he didn't want to answer that question, because he probably holds to the view that Israel wasn't supposed to teach the nations. That would make no sense for God to punish Israel for the sins of the nations. See, this is the type of stuff they don't want to sit through. That's why I said when people call in, they ain't going to want to walk through these verses step by step. They want to jump away and get around. But we're going to keep reading before we go back on the phone, because this is a lesson within the lesson. Look what it says right here, right? It says, all we as sheep have gone astray. Wait a minute. All we as sheep have gone astray? Somebody show me anywhere in the Tanakh where the nations are described as sheep that are gone astray. Who are the only people in the Tanakh, my Israelite brothers and sisters who are listening, including Kevin and Jeff, who are the only people in the Tanakh described as sheep that have gone astray?
Israel.
Israel, people. Y'all know that. The nation ain't in order for you to go astray, you got to have something to begin with. If the Tanakh was never given to the nations, if the Torah was never given to the nations, they didn't go astray. They were born wrong. Astray means somebody who had it right and lost it. So it says, all we as sheep have gone astray. This is Isaiah talking about him and the children of Israel. We have gone astray. Right there in the book of Isaiah, you can read that all over in the book of Isaiah. Matter of fact, let's go to Isaiah. Because like I said, I'm not getting off topic because this is a lesson within the lesson. I want them to see this because these people have no understanding of Tanakh. And he think that if he come out the Septuagint, they're going to give him some type of edge. Like we ain't reading the Septuagint. I got my number one Septuagint expert, Kevin, right here with me.
That's right. I'm sitting here laughing like he don't want to go to this Sep, dude. He don't want to go
to the Septuagint, bro. You trying to be slick, and then when I ask you to keep reading, what does he do? He completely ignores me and just started reading over me. Did I do that to him, Kevin?
Not all. It's like, we reading wisdom out the Septuagint, dude. How we not have a Septuagint? Come on, man.
Right. But did I interrupt him? Did I start reading out loud over him?
Not at all. You let him go where he wanted to go.
Right. Now check this out. Jeff, give me Jeremiah 50 and verse 6.
Jeremiah 56.
And verse 6. And Kevin, you pull it up in the Septuagint. We're going to read out of both of them. Jeremiah 50 and verse 6.
You ready for me out?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place.
My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds has caused them to go astray. It's actually in a different chapter in the Septuagint, but it said their shepherds has caused them to go astray. Jeff, still in the King James. We'll find it later in the Septuagint because it's in the Septuagint in a different chapter. I don't feel like looking for it. Right? Give me Ezekiel 14 and verse 11. Every time you read about somebody going astray in the prophet, it's always talking about Israel. It ain't talking about no nations. If the nations went astray, that would mean that they had to have some kind of affiliation with Israel first. Ezekiel 14 and verse 11. This is a prophecy.
All right. Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 11. That the house of Israel may go no more astray from me, neither be polluted any more with all their transgressions, but that they may be my people, and I may be their God, saith the Lord God.
That they may be my people, and I may be their Lord, and be their God. How come every time you read about somebody going astray in the Tanakh, it's talking about Israel as a nation? I want to see where it talk about the nations have gone astray. If they did go astray, that would imply that God gave them something. You follow what I'm saying? It would imply that God gave them something. That's what it means to go astray. That means to go off course. How can you go off course if you never were on course to begin with?
Josh,
go ahead.
Well, if I may interrupt real quick, whenever you're ready, we can read it out the Septuagint Jeremiah. Jeremiah.
You found it. Go ahead and pull it up. Go ahead.
Right. This is Jared for all y'all, for my fellow Septuagint readers. I'm in Jeremiah 27, verse 6. It says this: my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds thrust them out. They caused them to wander on the mountains. They went from mountains to hill. They forgot their resting place. Same exact thing.
Same exact thing, sisters and brothers. This is talking about Israelites being lost, going astray. That's the same thing the New Testament says about them being lost. You know what I'm saying? You can read all over the Old Testament where it talks about the children of Israel being lost sheep, going astray, being deceived. So when you go back, now let's go back to the Isaiah 53, then we'll jump back on the class, because Sal said that was the last call before we go back to the class, which technically this is the class. You know? That's why you see the little stuff that they do. See, people try to accuse me, Josh is running. Everything the brother asked me, I answered. Do you hold that Isaiah 53, verses 9 and 10, talking about Jesus Christ? Yes. That's what I said. Now, I'm going to go to Jeremiah, and Jeremiah's going to show me that that's him. We're going to read Isaiah 53 out in the rest of the Septuagint, and I'm going to show y'all how foolish it is to try to make the nation be this suffering servant. But back to Isaiah 53, right? And if you're there, Kevin, pick it up at verse 4. We're going to break this down all the way to the end. Then we're going to get back to the main lesson. They be trying, though. You got to give them credit. You got to see for effort.
We're in Isaiah
53 in the
Septuagint, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Verse 4. He bears our sins and is paying for us. Yet we accounted him to be in trouble and in suffering and in affliction.
Now,
but he was wounded on account of our sins.
Hold on, Kevin. We're going to read one verse at a time, okay? Now,
no problem.
It said he was paying for us, right? So they're teaching us that we're being punished for the sins of the nations. First of all, nowhere in the Tanakh does it say that. Second of all, I thought y'all said that one person can't be punished for the sins of another person.
Right.
Y'all said that's against Tanakh. You follow what I'm saying? Right? Now read verse 5, just verse 5.
Verse 5, but he was wounded on account of our sins and was bruised because of our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and by his bruises we were healed.
Mm-hmm. We're healed. Now look what it says. But he was wounded, Israel, we're going to make this be Israel because they say who that was, but Israel was wounded for the nation's sins and was bruised because of the nation's iniquities. The chastisement of the nation's peace was upon Israel, and by Israel's bruises we are healed. So whoever this is saying, if you say this is the nation of Israel, what you're saying is the only way the Gentiles can get healed is if God beats the crap out of Israel.
Right.
That's what you're saying, right? That's why he didn't want to keep reading this. He saw where it was going, like one of y'all said. Pick it back up. Watch what it says.
Verse 6, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Verse 6. All we as sheep have gone astray. Everyone has gone astray in his way, and the Lord gave him up for our sins.
Now, what did it say? It said, all we have done what? Read that one more time.
All we as sheep have gone astray.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has gone astray in his way, and the Lord gave him up for our sins.
Man said, all we have as sheep have gone astray. All we as sheep have gone astray, everyone to his own way. That's what they're saying. Now, Jeff, do me a favor. Read that Isaiah 56 and verse 11 in the King James.
Okay. Isaiah chapter 56, verse 11. Yea, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, every one for his gain from his quarter.
It said, everyone look to his own way? Who does that sound like? Does that sound like the nations, or is that describing Israel? What does that sound like? That sounds like Israel. Everyone, he said, all of we have gone astray. Everyone looked to his own way. I just read to you in Isaiah that Israel was described as sheep that have gone astray. Then I just read to you in Israel, because when I showed you that we as sheep was going astray the first time, I showed it because of the shepherds. Now we're reading specifically the shepherds, and what they make people do is that everyone's turning to his own way. So if the shepherds are the leaders and they are turning to their own way, they're making the people turn to their own way. Who is this talking about? This ain't talking about the nation. You don't read the Tanakh. How you going to read the Tanakh and tell me this is describing the nations when in the very few chapters later or previous chapter, Israel is described in these terms?
Right.
All of us have gone to our own way. You can't read that about no nation. And if you read that about the nation, it's not talking about in the context of ever knowing Torah law. This is talking about somebody who understood Torah law and strayed away from it. You follow what I'm saying? They were straight away from it. Here's another one. You know, this is in the Tanakh, right? Go to Ezekiel chapter 22, Jeff, and read verse 31. That's why he didn't want to say Israel had to go teach the Gentiles, because if he would have said that, then he know it was a contradiction. Because how in the world is God going to punish Israel for the sins of the nations when he wasn't even sent to the nations? So the nations over there doing their own thing, God don't care nothing about them. And they sinning. So God just going to turn around and beat up Israel for that? That brother that's a brother. That's why he didn't want to say that, because he knew that's a contradiction. He knew that didn't make sense. He's one of those brothers that think that Israel wasn't supposed to teach the nations. If he would have said, I don't believe Israel was supposed to teach the nations, then why in the world is Israel getting punished for the nation's sins then? Right. That's why he didn't want to say that. I can see when people are running. Then he want to come on here all underhanded. Bruh, just come out. Yo, I'm a non-Messianic or Tanakh only Hebrew. I don't believe Isaiah 53 is talking about Jesus. I believe it's talking about the nations. Let me tell you why. He want to come all underhanded and, could you just read that? Bro, why you acting all scared and bashful? Just say what you believe. I say what I believe. Stop the games. He wouldn't even tell me if he believed that the Isaiah 53 and 1, when it says our, is talking to the nation. No, just keep reading. Brother, we breaking this down. I got to know what your view is. They try to hide their views so you can't address their views. That's a coward. I don't want to deal with people like that. But check this out. This is Ezekiel 22 and 31. Look what God said he's going to return upon Israel.
Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 31. Therefore have I poured out my indignation upon them. I have consumed them with the fire of my wrath. Their own way have I recompensed upon their heads, saith the Lord God.
Who's that talking about right there, Jeff, when it says their own way? Who is he talking about?
They're talking about the nation of Israel.
Now go back and read Isaiah in the Septuagint. We keep it in the Septuagint for the brothers if you want to act like somebody ain't addressing him. Isaiah, where we picked that up at? Isaiah 53? Verse,
right. I think verse 7.
Verse 6. It's 6. Read verse 6 again.
All right. Isaiah 53, verse 6 in the Septuagint. All we as sheep have gone astray. Everyone has gone astray in his way, and the Lord gave him up for our sins.
It said everyone has gone astray in his way, the King James says own way. You follow what I'm saying? Same thing, his way, his own way, right? Jeff, one more, Ezekiel 36, verse 17. You want to try to make this be the nation? Where have the nations ever been described as going astray or being lost sheep? That's Israel. Y'all know that. Come on, Messianics and non-Messianics. Y'all know good and well Israel are described as the people going astray. Israel is described as the people who are lost sheep. And the brothers don't even believe that Israel is supposed to be taught. That's why he didn't want to answer that question. Just start reading over me like he ain't got no sense. But go ahead, Kevin.
And trying to put the Septuagint up against the King James. Come on, man. That's not going to work.
Right. When I doubt this brother, when I doubt that the Septuagint is even this brother's book of choice. That's the crazy part about it. He's coming on here with the Septuagint like that's his book of choice. I bet whoever that brother is, he's a King James or a Tanakh. But he's trying to turn the Septuagint against the Septuagint because he see me coming out this Apocrypha. Notice he ain't called in and said, I believe the Apocrypha. He ain't called in and said, I don't believe the Apocrypha. He want to call in and try to get off course because it's Apocrypha, this Wilson chapter 2, killing him. So what he's trying to do is invalidate the Septuagint or try to turn it against the King James So that'll get rid of the Apocrypha. Bro, I see through your games, bro.
Right.
If I'm doing a class titled, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I take personal exception to that because Septuagint been my main Old Testament of choice. So he's sitting up here talking. I'm like, dude, like Septuagint is my main Bible of choice, dude. Like, nah.
Right. And then he mentioned the Christians. And about the Christians, this reads different from how the Christians interpreted. Yes, but the first century Jews were Christians. And they were using the Septuagint. And they still interpreted that to be Jesus Christ. How are you going to try to take us to the Septuagint to try to get Jesus Christ out of it when you just acknowledge that the first century Jews who were Christians interpreted it to be Jesus Christ using the Septuagint? That's a self-defeating argument.
Right.
You can't try to take me to the book of the Christians and they interpreted Jesus Christ out of that and try to say because it reads different from the King James, they didn't believe that. Come on, man. This is the type of weak stuff they do. But y'all notice, the first thing I said when I started doing this class, I bet nobody calls in and attack wisdom and what we bringing out of it. I don't say that. Ain't nobody did it. I said that. Ain't nobody, they saying the heck away from wisdom. We don't want to mess with that.
Yeah,
but
right.
Let's finish this
even all in Isaiah 53, that ain't even the focus of this class.
Right. And the book of wisdom already let you know who that is. Why he ain't address that? You can't try to argue against the Septuagint without addressing the Apocrypha. First, you got to let us know if you believe the Apocrypha. Because according to Wisdom chapter 2, they understood that suffering servant to be an individual who was going to die. Why didn't he address that? And why is it when I ask him to read something, he don't want to read it? But he asked me to read something. I volunteered to read. He said he got it. Right? Why didn't he do that? But keep reading, though. Keep reading, though. Go to Isaiah 53. They're going to bring this home. Pick it up at verse 7. In the Septuagint.
Oh, we still in the Septuagint?
Yes, sir.
All right, no problem. Verse 7. And he, because of his affliction, opened not his mouth. He was led
stop
as
right
a
there.
sheep.
Hold up, stop. He, because of his affliction, opened not his mouth. Somebody show me in the Tanakh when Israel as a nation went into affliction for the punishment of their sins, they didn't cry out to the Lord or complain about their situation. I want somebody to call in and show me that. Somebody show me that, right? And don't even think about saying, well, Jesus cried out in his affliction. We can show you that breakdown too. But keep reading, though.
Okay. He was led as a sheep to the slaughter, and as a lamb before the shear is dumb, so he opens not his mouth.
Being led as a sheep to the slaughter means being led to your death or some type of hardship. So somebody showed me where when Israel was being led into captivity, like the brother read in Jeremiah, they didn't open their mouth. When you can go to the book of Lamentations and read all Israel, Lord, why have you done this to us? Why are you abusing us? Whoever this guy is, this said when he was being led away to his slaughter or his punishment, he didn't open his mouth. He took it like a soldier. He just walked there quietly. He didn't try to get out of it. Come on, y'all. I'm not even going to, let's go back to the main lesson. Because this is what I mean when I say at some point common sense got to kick in. That's why when Mr. DeAndre called in, he was like, man, these guys are high school dropouts. You know what I'm saying? These guys don't really know how to break this stuff all the way down. You can't just pick one little part of the verse that seems similar to something Israel went to and try to run with that. You cannot do that. Israel did not go quietly to their punishment. Y'all know that. I wanted to not only Hebrew to call in and show me one place in the Tanakh when Israel went to their punishment for their sins or any other reason that they were just perfectly quiet. Somebody show me that. I want to see that. Because if you can't show me that, don't tell me that's the nations of Israel. Because I can show you in the New Testament where Jesus went quietly to his demise. Well, he cried out to the Lord when he was on the cross. Yes, he cried out in pain. But it said, led like a sheep to the slaughter. He didn't open his mouth. There's a difference between being led somewhere and actually being there. On the way to the slaughter, Jesus did not open his mouth. That's all the prophecy said that was going to happen as he was being led away. He wasn't going to open his mouth. It never said that while he was being slaughtered, he wasn't going to cry out. Never said that. So don't take me to the slaughter and show me Jesus crying out and say, see, he wasn't dumb. Yes, he was the whole time he was led to his slaughter. He did not try to open his mouth in defense. He did not try to get out of it. Israel tried to get out of it every time. But let's go back. And we'll do a whole class on Isaiah 53. I'm still waiting for somebody to call in and address this wisdom. Can we get somebody, Sal, can you get somebody in the chat room or have somebody text you over the phone and be like, I want to address wisdom, and you put them ahead of the switchboard the next time we open up the phone? I want somebody to call in and do that.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Work on that.
Yeah, I want somebody to do that. See how many takers you get on that. We're going back. We're in Wisdom chapter 2. Let me get that with you.
I think we might be on verse 16, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's where we are. You are absolutely correct.
All right.
Wisdom chapter 2. The first non-messianic that tries to call in don't even want to read the entire Isaiah 53. He can start at verse 10, 9 and 10, but I can't start at verse 1. He wants to go back to chapter 52. Huh? How you get to start at 9 and 10, but I can't start at verse 1? You get to go from verses 9 and 10, jump all the way back a chapter, but I can't start at verse 1 and read it all the way through?
Didn't want to resort to Jeremiah. Like, man, these boys love Jeremiah, dude. Like, make me laugh.
I want, and please, another Tanakh only Hebrew, please call in and try to make it be Jeremiah. I want to see that too. Because I got something for you too. I want somebody to call in and do that. Make it Jeremiah. Can't be the nation. Nations been going astray, people. Israel went astray. You follow what I'm saying? Israel went astray. Israel are the lost sheep. Ask any Hebrew that. Ask the people who are the lost sheep according to the Bible. Any Hebrew, Tanakh only or Messianic, will all unanimously say, oh, that's Israel. Who was Jesus sent to? The lost sheep of the house of Israel. They'll all tell you that. But now when you get to Isaiah 53, all of a sudden the lost sheep miraculously turns to the nations. Come on, y'all. Y'all smarter than this. I know y'all are.
Right.
Wisdom chapter 2, verse 16. Read that, please.
Wisdom 2, verse 16. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that God is his Father.
Now listen to this. Now this had a mouthful in one verse. Look what it says. Verse 15 says, we're going to break it down verse by verse. It says, we are esteemed of him as counterfeits. Right? We're going to look that word up in the dictionary. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. That means he avoids our ways like it's something filthy or nasty. Right? He pronounceth the end of the just, which means the righteous, to be blessed. In other words, he's always telling people that at the end, the righteous are going to be blessed, or the just are going to be blessed. Then it says he maketh his boast that God is his Father. Now, y'all know good and well we already covered that, right? But let's deal with this verse by verse. It says we are esteemed of him as counterfeits. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the dictionary and look up the word counterfeit. We're going to the Webster's New Explorer College Dictionary. We're looking at the word counterfeit because this man, this righteous man, it says we're going to be esteemed of him as counterfeit, which means phony. And this is talking about the Jews. It's talking from the Jews' perspective. So this guy going to be among the Israelites and considering the Israelites to be counterfeit. This is the definition of counterfeit. Look, definition 1. Made in imitation of something else with intent to deceive. Right? As counterfeit money. Definition 2. Not real. Sham. You follow what I'm saying? Sham. That's what this is saying, right? That's what a counterfeit is. Now, what we're going to do, now let's go to Matthew chapter 23, and let's see when this was fulfilled. Matthew 23. Ain't nobody finna mess with this wisdom. And that's a 2 for 1, by the way. They ain't finna mess with the book of wisdom, and they ain't finna mess with the wisdom we bring in. Matthew 23. That's what I'm saying, man. Y'all don't see this. Y'all don't see that these non-messianics are cowards. I want to see somebody call in and address this wisdom. They running all from that. How in the world can a brother do a class titled Jesus Foretold in the Apocrypha and you don't agree, but you don't go to the Apocrypha one time? Huh? That's what they do. I hope y'all are taking notes for this. That's why they can't stand me, because they can't fool me. They can't play games with me. They think I can't see the double standard. They think they can ask me questions, and then when I ask them the same thing, they want to just ignore me. Do you believe that 9 and 10 is the Messiah? Yes, I think that's Jesus Christ. Do you believe in verse 1 when it said all information? No, just keep on reading. Why you can't answer no question? Why you can't put your views out there? You follow what I'm saying? Why you got to come all underhanded? I'm not coming underhanded at y'all. I tell y'all up front exactly what I believe. Somebody calls in, they don't even want to say what they believe. Why? What are you hiding? Just say it, bro. Yes, I believe those are the nations. It's talking about the nations, and that's what my view is. Matthew 23. Like I said, these fools ain't finna come on Debate Talk for you without having to see us. Y'all got to see us before y'all come over here thinking y'all running something. Got 2 debates under your belt and already calling yourself the champion. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. There's not a sporting event in the world where you can only compete twice and be the champion, unless it's a one-time event. You follow what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Matthew 23, verses 25 and 26. Let's see what it says right here. Go ahead and read.
Matthew chapter 23, verse 25. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess.
Mm-hmm.
Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also.
Now, pay attention to this, because this is how I know these brothers didn't understand the New Testament either. Look what he said in verse 25. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, we're going to look up that word, for you make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Notice he's likening extortion and excess to being filthy or being nasty, because he's saying you're clean on the outside, but you're nasty on the inside. That's basically what he's saying. Then verse 26 says, thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first. The only time you got to cleanse something when it's dirty or filthy, right? That which is within the cup and platter, that outside of them may be clean also. In other words, clean your heart. Purify your thoughts. Then you'll be good on the outside. A lot of these brothers just try to look good on the outside. That's what Mr. DeAndre was calling about. Just trying to look good on the outside. But notice he's telling them to cleanse themselves, meaning he thinks they're filthy. You go back to Wisdom chapter 2 and verse 16. First it says, we are esteemed of him as counterfeits, right? That's the hypocrites. We're going to look that up. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. That means I'm avoiding you because I think you're filthy. Why was Jesus avoiding the Pharisees? Because he thought they were filthy. That's why he told them to cleanse themselves up. Y'all can't see Jesus in this? They don't see Jesus in this? It said everything this man do, I'm reading it right here in the New Testament. This is not no coincidence, y'all. This is prophecy, right? But let me show you what hypocrite means. Remember, counterfeit meant like a fake, something with intent to deceive. Same dictionary, Webster's New Explorer College Dictionary, page 466. 466. We're going to look up the word hypocrite, because he said we are counterfeits. 466. Hypocrite. Look what it means. Definition 1. A person who puts on a false appearance of virtue or religion. A person who acts in contradiction to his or her stated beliefs or feelings. That's what a hypocrite is. In other words, somebody who is phony, a fake. That's what it meant when he said we are esteemed of him as counterfeit. A counterfeit means something fake. A hypocrite is somebody phony. So when it says we are esteemed of him as counterfeit, what it is saying is we are esteemed of him as hypocrites, phony, fake. What was Jesus mainly saying in the New Testament about the Pharisees? Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. How in the world did the writer of wisdom know all the way back then that somebody was going to be coming on the scene calling people hypocrites? How did he know that? Look at all this stuff lining perfectly up with our Messiah. Now, y'all produce somebody who fits this stuff. Our Messiah in our books. So I guess they done with the Apocrypha after tonight. You seen the last brother that called in. He didn't even want to touch the Apocrypha. He ain't going nowhere near. He's like, let's go to Wisdom chapter 2 and let's break this down. He didn't want to touch that. And Wisdom chapter 2, why are we even arguing Isaiah 53, Jeff and Kevin, when Wisdom chapter 2 already let us know it's this individual we're reading about right here, and it's not the nation? Why are we even doing that? That's what you call not addressing people's arguments. First, you got to get wisdom out the way, because wisdom most definitely is making a reference to Isaiah 53 as being an individual. And this was written much later than Isaiah, meaning our Hebrew forefathers had time to contemplate and meditate on the true meaning of that verse, and then they came to a conclusion. This is an individual who's going to be doing all this stuff that we're reading that Jesus did. They cannot get around this. That's why they won't even touch it. I'm waiting on somebody. That's why I said, Sal, put an APB out. Anybody listening online, you know some non-messianics listening. If they believe the Apocrypha, press 1, call in, and tell us this ain't describing Jesus. And then tell us why. Break it down. But we're going to keep going, though, because it gets even deeper than that, right? Because it also says in verse 16, because verse 16 said a lot, it says, he abstained from our ways as for filthiness. That's why he told the Pharisees to clean up because they were filthy. Then it says, he pronounces the end of the just to be blessed and maketh them boast that God is his Father. Like I said, we already dealt with the Son of God concept. Y'all all know that Jesus claimed to be the Son of God. I ain't even got to break that down. But what about proclaiming the end of the just to be blessed? Let's take a look at that. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. This fits too tight. It fits too perfectly. So who's this guy in Wisdom talking about? Wisdom chapter 5, verses 2 to 9. He pronounces the end of the just to be blessed. That means in the end, he's going to be telling people, you're going to be blessed. When the end comes, you're going to be blessed. Let's see if Jesus did anything like that. Matthew chapter 5, verses 2 to 9. Read, please.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 2. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Hold up. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The poor in spirit is talking about the righteous, sisters and brothers. Blessed, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Let's see what else. Verse 4.
Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
For they shall be comforted. Notice he's speaking in future tense. They shall, because that's what's going to happen at the end. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. He pronounces the end of the just to be blessed, meaning it's going to be a guy coming on the scene telling everybody in the end, if you are righteous, that's what just means, you're going to be blessed. This ain't what Jesus is doing right here, y'all. Is this not the exact same thing? But keep reading. Keep reading.
Verse 5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall, future tense. The meek are also the just, because it means being humble. They shall inherit the earth. Shall, future tense. He pronounces the end of the just to be blessed. How in the world, Jeff and Kevin, can they honestly sit back and say they don't see Jesus Christ here?
Or they're not even addressing it, at least up to this point.
They ain't even addressing it. Keep reading. Keep reading.
Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled.
They shall be filled. Blessed are they. This is all future tense. He pronounces the end of the just to be blessed, sisters and brothers. What that means is he's going to come on the scene, whoever this righteous man is, and be declaring that if you are just or righteous, you're going to be blessed in the end. This is exactly what Jesus is saying right now. And it's in the Apocrypha, in the book of wisdom. You want me to address Isaiah 53 when a book was written after Isaiah 53 by our Hebrew forefathers titled The Wisdom of Solomon, meaning this is something that wise people are going to see and understand. I don't need to break down Isaiah 53. My Hebrew forefathers already did it for me. We can debate. That's why a lot of folks don't want to deal with the Apocrypha. We can debate all day and long about who Isaiah 53 is talking about, but Wisdom 2 kills it. Deal with Wisdom 2. You like the Septuagint. Brother got a Septuagint, but he ain't going to go to Wisdom chapter 2, which we've been reading out of all night. We've been reading out of Wisdom all night. The brother busts open the Septuagint. The title of the class is Jesus Christ Foretold in the Apocrypha. The brother is sitting there with an Apocrypha, and he goes not to the book in the Apocrypha we've been reading all night. He want to go to Isaiah 53. Now, don't y'all think there's something shady about the fact that he's avoiding the very topic at hand?
No doubt.
Why debate Isaiah 53 back and forth when a book was written later telling us that it's going to be an individual? Why do that? That would be like me debating which nation of Israel was going to go in captivity first. You follow what I'm saying? That's like him doing that. You feel me? Hey,
Yeah, I apologize. I got to just jump in real quick. We only have like 2 minutes on the air, people. We have 2 minutes on the air. What that means, if you're listening on social media, if you're listening on Blog Talk, you're going to have to call in to hear the rest of the show live. The number is 646-716-7320. Again, the number is 646-716-7320. And we're going to take more of your calls later on, as the show progresses. So once you call in, you got to press number 1, though, if you want to have a question or comment. Again, that number is 646-716-7320. You got to call in before the time runs out. Yeah, Brother Josh.
Sal, Kevin just let me know that his phone's about to die, and he's on his home phone or another phone. It's a 203-954 number. So if you could just put him through on that, and he's going to hang up his other line once you put him through.
I got you. 203. No, okay. Got you. No problem.
Okay, Kevin, you good? Let's see if Kevin on there. Jeff, you still there?
I'm right here, bro.
Kevin, are you on your other line?
Yeah, Kevin, you got to press number 1 if you're out there, brother. You got to press number 1. They have a lot of people on the switchboard. You got to press number 1. I'm looking for you. I'm going scrolling down, but you got to press number 1 in order for me to see you. 203, you said, right? 203-954?
Yeah. 954.
Okay, I got you, brother. I got you now. Okay, there you go.
All right, Kevin, you hear me, Josh? Yeah, I hear you.
All right, cool.
So it's about the blessed, right? Go ahead and read one more. Y'all can read the rest of this chapter on y'all own. I think they get the point on this. Read one more verse. Jeff, please.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 7. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.
Mm-hmm. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. They shall. Again, future tense. He pronounces the end of the judge to be blessed. Can somebody please tell me, who does this sound like? Who does this sound like? This is talking about the Messiah. And he made a reference to Isaiah 53. Why does the brother want to call in and debate Isaiah 53 with me when the book of wisdom has already told us who that is? The brother wouldn't even let us know if he believed the Apocrypha or not. Even though I explicitly said, if anybody calls in, let me know up front if you believe the Apocrypha. I wanted to know that because I know a lot of not only Hebrews who used to be Messianic did, in fact, teach out of the Apocrypha and probably still does. But the brother don't want to do that. See, this is the type of people we dealing with, y'all. Nobody wants to sit down and walk through this stuff and be honest. You follow what I'm saying? Nobody wants to do that. But y'all get the point on it. Let's go to Wisdom chapter 2 again. We winded it down. We ain't got nothing but a few more left. Wisdom chapter 2, Kevin. We're going to read 17 through 20 because this is a big one right here. This is dealing with the crucifixion. This is dealing with the crucifixion. What? Let's see. Let's break it down. Let's see what the Israelites are going to be saying about him. Wisdom chapter 2. First, just read verse 17. We're going to break it down verse by verse. Just read verse 17. Go ahead, please.
Wisdom chapter 2, verse 17. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him.
Now, look what it said. Let us see if his words be true. This is what the Israelites are going to be saying about this righteous man. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. Let us test. That will prove me. Let us test and see what's going to happen to him. Verse 18, read that.
Verse 18, for if the just man be the son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies.
Look what it says. If the just man be the son of God, they're talking about this just man. If you be the son of God, let's see if God will deliver him from his enemies. I already know not only Hebrews who used to believe in the New Testament can already see what it sounds like. They could probably even pinpoint the event. I ain't even got to turn there for them. I'm going to do it anyway. But I already know they saying, oh, crap, that sounds like what they were saying about Jesus on the cross. I know they can see that. Oh, crap, we don't messed up. We don't blew the mess. We don't went out and told everybody that Jesus was phony. Oh, my God, we don't really messed up. Yes, you have. Yes, you really have. I want to see what you're going to do. I want to see if you're going to admit that the Apocrypha is right and you're wrong, and repent and admit to everybody that you were wrong when you became non-Messianic or Tanakh only. Or are you going to take the coward's way out like, I guess we ain't dealing with the Apocrypha no more either. Or are you going to do that? And y'all know they read the Apocrypha. Y'all know they do. Y'all know some brothers don't been on here that don't talk out of the Apocrypha. Y'all know they have. They got to deal with this. This is leading up to the first century. I keep telling people you can't try to delete testimonies from the Bible. The book of Daniel speaks of 4 beasts that was going to rise out the earth, representing 4 different empires: Babylon, Medo-Persian, Greek, and Rome. And in each one of those empires, our God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, made sure he had an inside testimony from our Hebrew forefathers. Now, we got 4 beasts, but they want to only give us 3 testimonies. We got the testimony of us being on the Babylonian Empire. That's the prophets. That's Ezra. That's Nehemiah. We got the testimony of us being on the Medo-Persian Empire. Again, the prophets, Nehemiah, Ezra. And we got the testimony of us being on the Greek Empire. That's the Apocrypha. So where's our testimony of being on the Roman Empire?
That's right.
Where is it? The only testimony we have from an inside perspective under the Roman Empire is the New Testament. Now, we got 4 beasts. We're supposed to have 4 testimonies of Israel's oppression by those beasts. 4 beasts, 4 testimonies. Babylon, Medo-Persian, Greek, Rome. Tanakh, Apocrypha, New Testament. That's where you find the testimony of each one of these beasts. That's why they can't even tell you what's going to happen in the kingdom of the 4th beast, because they don't throw out the 4th testimony. God ain't ever did that. Every time God had us in oppression to any empire, he always had the Hebrew Israelites record that oppression. Every single time. You can see it in the Tanakh all over the place and in the Apocrypha. So why are y'all trying to get rid of the 4th testimony of God's promises to Israel? Because each one of these testimonies also testify of something God said he was going to do to Israel, good or bad. Each one of them testifies that. So why do y'all want to get rid of the 4th testimony when there are 4 beasts? What happened to the testimony under the 4th beast? And the 4th beast has already fallen. So the 4th beast, Rome, came and went, and God ain't got nothing to say about that. Come on, y'all. Use a little common sense. Stop listening to these counterfeits. That's what y'all need to stop doing, right? But what we saw was, it said, let us, it said, for if the just man be the son of God, he will help him and deliver him out of the hand of his enemies. Read verse 19. Listen to this. We look from chapter 2, Kevin, verse 19. You still there, Kevin? You might be muted. I don't hear you.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting my phone. I have my phone muted. Verse 18.
Verse 19. Read verse 19. Listen to this.
Verse 19. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience.
It said, let us examine him with despitefulness about the righteous man that claims to be the Son of God. Let us examine him with torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Whoever this man is, they did not want to instantly kill him. They wanted to torture him first. In fact, one of the names, if you look up, I got to look this up. I didn't even have this the first time I did this. Check this out, right? I got to put this in here, right? It's funny, right? What we're going to do, we're going to go to the Strong Concordance, and we're going to look up the word translated cross. In the New Testament, it's 47:16. Now, listen to this, y'all. This is the word translated cross in the New Testament. Because it said, let us examine him with torture, right? Listen to this. And the word is stauros. It says, a stake or post as set upright that is specifically a pole or cross, an instrument of capital punishment, figuratively exposure to death, right? It was a torturous death. But if you go to other translations, do y'all know that one of the definitions for the cross is torture stake? If Jeff is a Jehovah's Witness, he definitely, when he was used to be a Jehovah's Witness, Jeff definitely knows that they call it the torture stake. That's what the real definition of it is, torture stake. That's what it is. So they said, let us examine him with torture, because they're talking about killing him. They're talking about killing him with a torturous death, sisters and brothers. Now, what I'm going to do now is we're going to go to the Holman Bible Dictionary, and we're going to look up what it says about cross and crucifixion. Listen, it says right here on the cross/crucifixion. It says the method the Romans used to execute Jesus Christ, the most painful and degrading form of capital punishment in the ancient world. Degrading, right? They said that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. When you try to examine somebody with torture so you can know their meekness, his meekness, that means you're trying to humiliate him. That's another word for degrade. That's what they're saying right there, sisters and brothers. How in the world did the book of wisdom know that they were going to try to commit this guy to a torturous death? And then they say, let us kill him. They say, let us examine him with torture. Let's keep reading, though, right? It says, the cross became also the means by which Jesus became the atoning sacrifice for the sins of mankind, right? Now, we're going to read this right here. It says, a person crucified in Jesus' day was, first of all, scourged, beaten with a whip consisting of thorns with pieces of metal or bone attached to the end. That's torture, sisters and brothers. That's what that is, right? Or at least flogged until the blood flowed. This was not just done out of cruelty, but was designed to hasten death and lessen the terrible ordeal. After the beating, the victim was forced to bear the crossbeam to the execution site in order to signify that life was already over and to break the will to live. It said to break the will to live, sisters and brothers. Look what it said. They're trying to break his will. When you're trying to break somebody's will, let's go back and read it. Look what it says. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. What patience? See how long it's going to be before he breaks his will. You can't get around this, sisters and brothers. And they say we're trying to prove your patience if somebody is torturing you. And they say we're trying to prove your patience. What they're trying to say is we're trying to see how long you can take this torture. That's exactly what the purpose of the crucifixion was. We just read this. This is too airtight, sisters and brothers. And these not only Hebrews want a shot at me. They don't even deal with stuff like this. They don't get this deep. They don't get this technical. Every time you turn around, somebody's trying to accuse Brother Josh of running. Even black Jesus ministers want to come on here and lie. Knowing good and well, I told that brother, I accept your challenge. I let you pick two things. I just want to pick one thing, the title. That's all I want to pick. We still debating whether the mark of the beast is literal or symbolic. We're still debating that. You're still getting exactly what you want. He did not want that title, sisters and brothers, because if I can prove that you have to choose to take the mark of the beast and you're not tricked into it, then that automatically makes it symbolic, and I can prove that. And he knows that. That's why he didn't like that title. That's why he didn't like that. He want to tell you, oh, God, you're going to make somebody sneak up on you. Ooh, you got the mark. You didn't know. Come on, y'all. Let's be serious, right? So we've seen how a crucifixion was done. It was a form of torture. It was known as a torture stake. You can look that up in other dictionaries. It'll tell you that a crucifixion was a torture stake. That's what they called it, a torture stake. Look up in any dictionary, it'll tell you. You can look it up in any Bible dictionary. It'll tell you that a cross was a torture stake. That's what they call it, a torture stake. That's why they said, let us examine him with torture. Y'all can look this up for yourself. But now, let's go back. Because it also said, it says, know his meekness and prove his patience. Read verse 20, please. Kevin, now read that. I got to let you read that. You might be muted again, Kevin.
Well, you know what? It's called just dropped just now. Just dropped. Yeah,
that's
man,
cool.
It's crazy.
I'll read it, and you can try to call in and get on three-way with Jeff or something. You know what I'm saying? And if he can't do that, we might have to finish this without him, right? So this is Wisdom chapter 2, right? Look what it says right here in verse 20. It says, let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own sayings he shall be respected. It said, let us condemn him with a shameful death. Shameful. That's the same meaning of degrading. Go back to the Holman's Bible Dictionary under cross, crucifixion. the method the Romans used to execute Jesus Christ, the most painful and degrading form of punishment. Do y'all know what it means to degrade? What does it mean to degrade somebody, Jeff? What does that mean?
Kind of like embarrassed to a degree.
That's what it means. They said let us condemn him to a shameful death. We just read these people that it means degrading. We can even look at it in the dictionary. I'm just going to throw this in here because we get to the end anyway. I just want to throw some stuff in here. Y'all see it. But they don't want to mess with this stuff right here, though, y'all. They don't even want to deal with simple terminology and look these words up. Jesus Christ is in the Apocrypha, sisters and brothers. Y'all see that. That's why I ain't going to call in and deal with that. We winding it down. You follow what I'm saying? Hold on 1 second. This is Kevin texting me. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to tell him to call you, okay? Let me see if he has your number so he can come back. Because I know once you get locked out, that's a wrap, right?
Josh, can you give him my cell number?
I don't have your cell. Let me see. Is it the one you text me that you want right now?
No, this is my home. I'm going to text it to you right now.
Okay. While we doing that, while I'm waiting for that, let me look at this word degraded. Now look what it means. It says degrade, to dispose, to drag down in moral or intellectual character, to reduce complexity. That's one of the definitions. Degradation, look what this means. A reduction in rank, dignity, or standing, removal from office, loss of honor or reputation, humiliation. To humiliate somebody is the same thing as putting them to shame. That's the same thing. Let us condemn him to a shameful death, right? So is that not the crucifixion? Is that not torture? You got the shame and you got the torture. This is no coincidence, sisters and brothers. This is Jesus Christ in the Apocrypha. I want somebody to call in and deal with this. Let's move on. I just sent them your numbers. He'll be back in a minute. Now, let's go to Matthew. Jeff. Let's go to Matthew. If y'all can't see this, y'all don't want to see this. Matthew 27, 39 and 40. Look what they were saying. Matthew 27, 39 and 40.
Matthew chapter 27, verse 39. And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of God, come down from the cross.
Look what it says. They say, if you be the Son of God, come down from the cross. Right? Now skip down and read verse 43. Watch what that says. Read that.
Verse 43. He trusted in God. Let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God.
Wait a minute. He trusted in God. Let him deliver him, which means save him now, because he said, I am the Son of God. Wisdom, chapter 2, right? Verse 17. Look what it says. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the Son of God, he will deliver him from the hands of his enemies. Matthew chapter 20. Let me get back where I was. Matthew chapter 27, verse 43. Same thing. Look what it says right here.
Matthew 27, verse 43.
Read.
He trusted in God. Let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God.
Wisdom chapter 2, verse 17. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the Son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. That is saying the same thing. Both of these are saying that if this man claims he's the Son of God, let's see if God's going to help him.
Hey, John, I got Kevin on just in case.
That's cool. Glad to hear it.
All right.
And they said that after, they said, let us examine him with a torturous death. So you got a torture and shameful death. That's the crucifixion. We just looked that up. Then you got the people reviling him as they are doing this. Let us examine him with torture, and let us condemn him to a shameful death. Not just stoning him, let's humiliate him. Let's degrade him. Then it said they were going to be saying, if he's the Son of God, he will save him. That's exactly what Matthew 27 says. This ain't talking about Jesus Christ. Even the Tanakh don't get this deep with it. Y'all gonna try to tell us this talking about somebody else? Come on, y'all. Y'all smarter than this. Let's move on. Let's go to the last set of them. Let's go to Wisdom chapter 2, Kev. 21 and 22. This the last two of them. Come on, y'all. Y'all got to be. I refuse to believe that Israel is this dumb. I refuse to believe that. I know y'all can see this. I know y'all can see this. You ain't got to believe it, but I know you can see it. There's no way Israel is this dumb. There's just no way. Prideful maybe, stubborn maybe, but cannot be this dumb. You cannot be. You don't want to see it because now you got to go back and tell everybody that you don't believe the mission. You cannot reinterpret this. You cannot make this be anybody else. I would love to see somebody even try. You can't make this be Jeremiah. Jeremiah alone dead. You can't even make this be the nation of Israel because it's talking about an individual. If the just man be. And this was written before the New Testament. So can anybody explain to me why this matches perfectly with Jesus in every single way? Come on, y'all. You got a better chance of hitting the lottery 3 times in a row than this just coincidentally matching with Jesus. How can somebody writing something nearly 200 years prior to the events in the New Testament pinpoint so accurately what Jesus was going to be doing and going through, unless this is a prophecy? And if it is a prophecy, why does it match the very person y'all trying to get rid of? The Bible calls this a just man, and it says Israel is going to examine him with torturous death. That's who the hour in us is. Let us examine him. Who wrote the book of wisdom? Israelites. So don't try to make this be the nation of Israel either. A torturous death. A shameful death. Right? But Wisdom 2, 21 and 22. We only got one more after that. Read that.
Wisdom 2:21. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness had blinded them. As for the mysteries of God, they knew them not. Neither hoped they for the wages of righteousness, nor discerned a reward for blameless souls.
It said, such things they did imagine, the they being the Israelites, and were deceived, for their own wickedness hath blinded them. Then verse 22 says, and for the mysteries of God, they knew them not. Neither hope they for the wages of righteousness, nor discern a reward for blameless souls. We're going to break this down. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them. So we're talking about people who imagined or planned to do this to the Messiah, and they were deceived by their own wickedness when they did this, and it says they were blinded. Now, is there anywhere in the New Testament that talks about people who was his enemies that he considered to be blinded and that did not know the mysteries of God? Let's see. Let's go to Matthew chapter 13. Verses 10 and 11. Y'all see this stuff, man. Y'all know y'all see this. Y'all know y'all see this. I got to talk to them like they kids. Y'all know y'all see this. Matthew chapter 13, verses 10 and 11. Yeah, y'all go ahead and get rid of the Messiah. Matthew 13, verses 10 and 11. Read it when you get there, please.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 10. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given.
But unto them it is not given. Wisdom chapter 2 and 21 says, for such things did they imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them. As for the mysteries of God, they knew them not. It is given unto you, the people that believe in Jesus, to know the mysteries of God. The mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, also known as the mysteries of the kingdom of God, but to them it is not given. Notice it's saying that his enemies did not know the mysteries of God. And that's exactly what Jesus said. The people that was against him, they did not know the mysteries of God. right? That's exactly what Wisdom said. Last one. Let's deal with this blind part. Matthew 15, 13, and 14. That's the last one. Y'all know good well y'all see this stuff, man. This stuff lines up too perfectly. I couldn't put this stuff together out my own thoughts if I tried. You got to be blind, stubborn, stupid, deceived, arrogant, all of the above to tell me you don't see Jesus Christ here. You just got to be. Matthew 15, 13, and 14. Watch what Jesus said about the Pharisees when they were offended at something he said. 13 and 14. Read that.
Matthew chapter 15, verse 13. But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up.
Mm-hmm.
Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch.
And he's talking about his same enemy. So he told you that it was not given to them to know the mysteries of God. It was only given to people that believe in him. Wisdom said such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them. And as for the mysteries of God, they knew them not. Jesus said in the New Testament they did not know the mysteries of God, and he called them blind. How in the world can all of this stuff from verse 12 to verse 23 line up perfectly with Jesus Christ approximately 200 years before he was born? Because it is a prophecy, sisters and brothers. So as you can see, people, I have shown you that Jesus Christ was indeed prophesied or foretold in the Apocrypha. This is indisputable. If you are a Tanakh only Hebrew, but you still believe in the Apocrypha, I would love to for you to call in and show me how Wisdom 2 is anybody else. And you can't make it be anybody else. It was written by Israelites. Y'all all been teaching that. Don't try to say, well, it wasn't written by Israelites, or it was written during the time the Greek Empire. Every time Israel was in captivity to one of the foreign nations, y'all do know that the language of what their testimonies were written in reflected whatever oppression they was under. When they was in captivity to the Babylonians, if you look at the book of Daniel, written in Aramaic, that's the language of Babylon. When they were being oppressed by the Greeks, that's the Apocrypha period. That's why the Apocrypha written in Greek. Get to the New Testament, Greek is still the universal language. That's why the New Testament is written in Greek. And these people don't even understand that. They want to kick against the Greek. That's why right now in America, you still think you Israel when y'all write and teach. What language y'all teaching in? English, because that's the language of your oppressors. That's what Israel always did. So I don't want to hear no crap about, well, it was written during the Greek. Every time Israel went into captivity, they wrote in the language of their captors. Come on, y'all. Let's start arguing over stuff that don't even make no sense. So Jesus was foretold in the Apocrypha, and I would love to hear what anybody has to say about that. See you next time.
We're just going to take a few more questions before we pretty much wrap it up. Again, we appreciate the people that's calling all over the globe. Check out Debate Talk View on social media, via phone, via Skype. And, of course, we're going to post it up later on in the YouTube channel. And shout out to the YouTubers out there, the new YouTube family we got out there on Debate Talk View Radio. We appreciate your subscription. But let me check on Brother Josh. You there, brother?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so let's go to the people. Let's see what you guys got to say. Again, keep it clean, keep it professional. That's how we do it on Debate Talk Radio. Let's go to the next person. Let's go to 240-731. You're live in there.
What's up, brother Sal? What's up, ABC family? What's up, KC?
Yeah, what's up, KC? I can hardly hear you, though.
Okay. Do I sound better now?
Oh, yeah, that's much better. I can hear you.
Okay. First, I want to say, man, Minister Yon, man, I'm just glad to hear the man's voice, to hear that he's doing well. I hope the brother Red gets stronger, man, so he get back on the battlefield, man, so he can represent the Most High Son. Lastly, what I want to say, man, I'm going to make this real quick. These people, these ones that be on Sal's YouTube channel, doing all that chatting and talking, and they know who I'm talking about, the men and the women. They know who I'm talking about. Now's your chance. Call in. You dispute. You can go against Josh, go against the other brothers, whatever. Call in. Here's your time to call in right now. Don't wait to sound posted up on YouTube. Then you want to gang up, try to attempt to gang up on people and talk all types of trash. You can say what you have to say right now in 3 minutes. That'll take you probably 20 to type. Call in and say what you have to say. And that's it, man. That's all I got to say. I want to also say, man, great class, Josh. You brothers brought it. And hey, I got to borrow this from Minister DeAndre. You brought a 24-pack of truth tonight. You brothers keep going, man. I'm going to continue to listen. Brother Casey, I'm out.
Praise God, brother.
All right, we're going to the phone lines. Let's go to the next person. Let's go to 315-863. You're live on the air.
Shalom, shalom. It's your boy Ariel, a.k.a. Sound Mind. What's good, Sal?
Hey, shalom, brother. What's going on, man?
Not much. I'm chilling. It's been a minute. I just wanted to call in and say I heard the class before, but you can never, ever hear a good class too many times. And this class was even more refreshing because every time Brother Josh do a class, he try to add something in new, you know, whether it's definition or some more precepts or anything or some better understanding. So I just wanted to shout out Brother Josh for doing a good class tonight. Shout out to the whole ABT family. And ain't nobody out here putting in that work like ABT, man. You know, it's one of a kind. So we continue to support, continue to show love. And I just wanted to shout out everybody from the ABT family. And, you know, no non-messianics going to call them again, as usual. So, you know, just have to live with it. They know.
And if they do, they ain't going to address this.
They know not to come this way.
Right. And if they do, they ain't going to address this. Like the first brother did. Heard a class titled The Apocrypha and don't go nowhere in the Apocrypha. Okay. Okay.
All right, Sound Mind, we appreciate you for calling in. Let's go to the next person. Again, you know, we got to do press number one, being that we're the overtime part of the show. We have a lot of people on the switchboard. So let's go to the next person. Let's go to 716-563. You're live on the air. Seven 716-563. You're live on the BlogTalk Radio. Can you hear me? 716. All right, going once, going twice. 716-563. Okay, we got to move on to the next person. Let's go to 832-528. You're live on air.
What's happening?
What's going on, brother?
All right. Well, look there. Again, Josh, your part two, brother, was dead on. I thank God for you, and I thank God for ABT, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, dear brother. And regarding that debate, dear brother, if you say that Jesus, just for example, if you say that Jesus did not exist, and I say Jesus did, and then I challenge you to a debate, and you say you want to entitle the debate, Did Jesus Walk on Water? Dear brother, that is being absolutely slick and not absolutely Bible true to sit up here and say that you're going to debate me on the issue of Jesus existing or not based on the title, Did Jesus Walk on Water? So, brother, again, I challenge you one more time, brother, and I ask you stop being slick. Are you going to debate me on the issue whether the mark of the beast is real or not, and not some slick title that you come up
terrible
with?
Analogy.
Yeah, right.
Terrible analogy.
Yes, terrible analogy. Just awful. Look, brother, we're all online right now. This is what I'm telling people, right? Everybody listening? Jeff, you hear me? Kevin? Sal?
Yeah, I hear you.
Brother Minister, everybody hear me? The point of the debate is I believe that the mark of the beast is symbolic. You believe that you believe it's, hold on, I'm talking. You believe it's literal. Now that we've gotten that, wait, let me finish. Now that we've gotten that out in the open, I'm going to set out to prove that the mark of the beast is not literal because it's a choice. You're going to set out to believe that it is literal because we're going to be tricked into taking it. That is both of our views. Now that the BlogTalk4U audience has heard both of our views and what we intend to prove, what's the problem with the title?
Look here, homeboy. Look here, man.
There's nothing slick about that. There's nothing slick about that.
Let me tell you something. Hold on. You brilliant brother, but you think everybody on this show and on the planet is stupid, homeboy.
Oh, man. Next caller, please. I don't want to argue with this dude about this.
Brother, I'm not arguing with you either.
Sal, I don't want to argue with him. I already told the brother I take his challenge. I just want to pick the topic of the debate. I mean, not the topic, but the title. And I even told everybody on the record, nobody can say I'm being slick if I'm telling everybody what we're here to prove. If everybody understands the topic of the debate and what I'm here to prove and what he's here to prove, then there's nothing deceitful about the title. I'm telling this brother, yo, I want to call the debate the Mark of the Beast, Choice or Trick or choice. Why do I think that is a very important title? Because I say that if it's a choice, then that means you can't be tricked into it, which means that the moment you say you want to take it, you have to deny something about your God. If you believe that it's a literal chip or whatever, and that you're going to get tricked into taking it, you believe it's a trick. All I'm doing in the title is telling people why we believe what we believe. Why do you believe it's literal? Because you think we're going to get tricked into it. Why do I believe it's symbolic? Because I believe it's going to be a choice. So I'm putting that out there. All I'm doing is giving people in the title the reason behind our views. Now, why does this fool keep harassing me saying I'm running from him when I already said I would debate him? I just want to pick the title. I let him pick the topic. I let him jump ahead like 15 people that want to challenge me. I'm giving him two things. He can't give me one. So, Black Jesus Minister, stop harassing me. Stop stalking me. I've already given you my answer. Either accept the title as a stipulation of the challenge. That's like you going to fight somebody. You want to fight Floyd Money Mayweather. And the only thing he's telling you is, I will fight you, provided you let me pick the location. I want to fight in New York. You can pick the theme of the fight. You can pick the whatever you want to call the fight. As far as like the location, you can jump ahead all the contenders. All I want to do is pick the location. And you telling Floyd Money Mayweather, who don't owe you nothing because you ain't did nothing, no. If I can't pick the location too, you running. No, I'm not running. I'm just telling you what I want. That's what Sal does. He's the moderator. He's the mediator. He's trying to make sure both parties get what they want. I think I'm doing you a big favor by letting you jump ahead. Many people who Sal will tell you wanted to debate me, and I turned them down. I let you come, and all I wanted in return was that I picked the title, and you want to call me being slick, even though I just let everybody know what we're trying to prove. So, brother, I think you got a mental problem. I think something's wrong with your mind. I think you're crazy. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me no more. Now I don't want to deal with you at all, even if you do agree with the title. Stop harassing me. You follow what I'm saying? Because something's wrong with you.
All right, people, once again, we have like a few more minutes left. If you have any questions or comments, all you got to do is press number 1. We're in the overtime part of the show, so press number 1. And we'll add you to the conversation, or we can pretty much wrap the show up and get some last words from our special guest to get us to your time, people. If you have any questions or comments, just press number 1, and we'll add you in. All right, well, I don't see anybody else pressing number 1. All right,
hold on, Sal. No, Sal. No. I ain't wrapping up nothing. We ride this thing all the way out to 11 p.m. So, okay, none of them guys, after you upload this thing to YouTube, I'm getting the money's worth tonight, bro. We getting the money worth tonight. I want to hear from Jeff. I want to hear from Kevin. Unless we get cut off or something, no, because then I tell y'all that none of these clowns were going to call in. They talk all this stuff on YouTube. Judah Nazareth got all this stuff to say. Some other brother named Yasharallah Yisrael. You can't even mention my name on your YouTube channel without that clown saying something about me. Now, just like my brother said, Jeff Lewis, it was either KC or Jeff Lewis, one of them. All these times now, I'm sitting here. Every time I come out to play, people get carpal tunnel. People can't press 1. So I don't want to wrap nothing up, Sal. I want to make sure we get the most out of this. I want to hear from anybody else. I want these, you know they're listening, Sal. How in the world you got these people on your show? And this non-messianic thing been a hot topic. You just had a show a couple of days ago, and all these non-messianics were calling in. Then we come out here, and ain't nobody got nothing to say. I mean, they talking all this junk. No, I'm putting them on blast. I want you to, Judah Nazareth, Yasharallah Israel, Rob Rack, I'm calling names. All these non-messianics that don't have my name in their mouth, press 1 now. Here I am right now. I'm out in the open. You want to talk crap about me when I can't say nothing back, because y'all know I don't do that social media back and forth crap. Now I'm live. So I got to wrap up the show early because all of y'all all of a sudden don't got afraid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hello? just
Jeff
let you know, brother. Jeff dropped. But anybody else? I guess maybe you can have.
I got
Okay.
I got Sal. He just called me, Jeff.
Okay.
So that's it, Sal.
I don't see anybody pressing. Okay, we have somebody press number 1. Let's go to the next person. Again, this is your time, people. Just press number 1. We're in the overtime part of the show, so all you got to do is press number 1, and we'll add you in the conversation. So let's go to the next person. Let's go to 678-213, live on air.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I don't mean to bust y'all bubble and nothing. I know y'all might have had a glimmer of hope that somebody was going to call in trying to challenge this.
I knew it wasn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't. I already knew.
Yeah, man. I've been listening all night, man. Again, wonderful show. But I gotta be honest. This is the first time I think, because a lot of times I know people don't press 1 because they just like, man, I can't deal with this time. I don't know why I feel this way. I think a lot of them are confounded by the information because, I know that a lot of them deal, like you said earlier, a lot of them do deal with the Apocrypha. And I'm getting a sense that because it's so detailed, it is so to the point, it is so crystal clear that, of course, this is basically reiterating Isaiah 53, which throws out everything it was, and it specifically shows that this is an individual, and then you're showing evidence of who this individual is, which is our Messiah, Jesus Christ. And for the first time, I really do think, and that's my hope and prayer, that people are really sitting back and looking at this and taking it all in because I know that they deal with this book, with the Apocrypha. You have to, like you said earlier, there's a testimony of the affliction and the under the Egyptians, the Babylonians. We have a testimony of being under the Greek Empire, and we have a testimony of being under the Roman Empire, of the beast. There's always a testimony of those, and you have to take heed to those things. And like you said, this is the wisdom of Solomon, the wisest man on earth. You know what I'm saying? And so like you said, this is for a wise man to understand. This is pretty clear. I don't really think you got to be too wise to see this. You got to straight up throw out Wisdom chapter 2. Now, I know a lot of people don't deal with 2nd Ezra because it mentions quote unquote Jesus, but we already know that's a false book, and it wasn't included in the Septuagint. However, this right here, it doesn't say his name, of course, because nobody knows his name till he came. But this right here, Wisdom chapter 2 is just so concrete, it's so hardcore that you really cannot get around this information which is brought here. And I just have to say, praise God, brother. Jeff and Kevin, excellent job as well, my brothers. Just a wonderful class, bro. I praise God for it.
Praise God, Antoine. Jeff, I got LeVar. He texted me. He said, not Jeff, I'm sorry, Sal. He texted me. He said he won't let him in the queue. His number is 440-320. If you can just put him through. Because he said
I got to scroll all the way down to try to find him, bro. All right, I'm going to try to find him, though. Okay.
All right, but let me just respond to what Antoine just said. Now, Sal, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you had a messianic, non-messianic discussion on your show? I'm just asking you, when was the last time?
I believe it was last week. Last week.
And did both messianics and non-messianics call in on that show?
Yeah, we had a mixture of people calling, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now how come you can go on Facebook, advertise this class, everybody know I got a debate coming up with a non-messianic, advertise this class, which I know if you post up on Facebook, these Tanakh only Hebrews see the title, and I'm trying to prove Jesus Christ. They know that's what I'm doing. Now here we are down to the last 19 minutes in the overtime section of the show, and now all of a sudden all these Tanakh only Hebrews that was flooding up your show and calling in every time you had a non-messianic or Tanakh only representing, they were calling in. I know because I checked out some of these. They were calling in. Now, ABT shows up, does this class, nobody got nothing to say. Sal want to get on. Sal tired. Sal like, man, we're going to wrap this thing up. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no final statement. Let's wrap it up. Sal tired of waiting. Y'all don't tie Sal out, which is something hard to do because Sal do this all the time. So I want us to not, and you know they listening. Come on, y'all. Y'all know my people out there who support and love ABT. Y'all know they listening. Y'all know they are. Y'all know at least one non-Messianic or Tanakh only Hebrew is listening. And they know they believe in the Apocrypha. They ain't going to call in and make no fool out of themselves. ABC is here. We're calling every last one of you out. Address this right here. If you believe in the Apocrypha.
Stand by, Brother Josh. I got somebody pressing number 1. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to 646-399. You're live in there.
Nope, not a non-Messianic, sorry. But,
man, stop teasing us. I knew it wasn't. Go ahead, man. Hey, hold on. Hey, Felix, before you speak, Sal. Mm-hmm. Go on the record and let everybody know that nobody was on the switchboard, so they won't be able to lie later on and say, I couldn't get through.
Yeah. You know, they know that. If I'm not answering the call, then they're not pressing number 1. They know. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want to make sure because they'll say some crap like that. Go ahead, Felix.
Yeah, Sal likes the participation. This is his favorite part of the show. So, you know, Sal is not going to just not let somebody in. You know, just an awesome lesson. It would be so ridiculous to hear anyone who proclaims to be Hebrew or of the Hebrew interpretation to put down the Apocrypha. That would be just outright kind of rewriting history in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just waiting to hear it. It's been kind of total silence on the Apocrypha issue. Thus far, I know one non-Messianic, a prominent non-Messianic brother who definitely references and speaks about the Apocrypha. I would love to get his take on this, but you know he stays away from the, you know, the argument of Messianic and non-Messianic for the most part. But you know, just simple stuff. You know, awesome lessons. You know, just another one in the plethora of classes we have on the title. I hope everybody. And by the way, you know, Ariel he also shared the post, and you know, got a non-Messianic brother commenting on it. So you know, I'm led to believe that he's listening. You know what I'm saying? So, or you know, just to not offend them, a Tanakh only brother commenting on it. And you know, I posted it in the Jesus and Nah group, and my caption was Apocrypha or Nah. You know what I'm saying? Because because that's the, you know, we got to get down to the nitty gritty. Like, we know that this was part of the canon. We know that you know, we know that according to history and just facts, like you can't disprove that the apocryphal books were considered a part of Hebrew canon way before the first century. So, you know, it's just like where are we going? What are we doing at this point? It's almost becoming a mute issue the way ABT is attacking this thing. It's like, you know, Mike Tyson attacking a dude that's just cowering in the corner and not fighting back. And not even with his hands up defending himself, just getting, you know what I'm saying? The referee going to go in there and stop the fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is, you're going to see a murder right now. So it's just getting crazy. But I'm pretty sure a lot of other people are looking forward to more, just like I am. But as far as the response from the opposing side, it's just giving up hope. And yeah, ride this thing to the end, just in case we get just in case, I guess. But peace, y'all. Peace out. Peace. Yeah, what's up, Josh?
Let me respond to what you said too, right? And you know, and like the brother said, if you are a Tanakh only, and technically you're not Tanakh only if you believe the Apocrypha too. You're Tanakh and Apocrypha.
Indeed, yep.
Even if, you know, but if you believe the Apocrypha, and which I know a lot of them do, then I would love to hear from you to call in and run these verses down and tell me who fits the bill. Because it can't be sheer coincidence. And don't try to say this is a conspiracy by the Christians, because what's so funny is the Apocrypha was not really held in that high esteem by the later Christians. That's why it don't appear in most King James Version Bible. Now, if the Apocrypha was being quoted all over the place, like directly and openly in the New Testament, you would have a point. But did y'all know, and this is another fun fact, did y'all know that at one time the Apocrypha was considered, the Apocrypha means hidden or concealed, right? At one time, look this stuff up in history, the Apocrypha was separated from the other books of the Bible. It was before the New Testament was written, but after the Old Testament, after the Tanakh was done. And it was taken out of the hands of the public because they felt that the Apocrypha had deep wisdom that the average man could not absorb. See, a lot of people don't know this stuff, right? And right now we're giving you a taste of that because if you are honest, see, I want to deal with people who are honest, people who got integrity, people who will call in and not keep trying to argue and debate with me about a debate. If everybody on Debate Talk you hear me say, I accept your challenge, provided you go with the title. Then what the people should be doing is asking this brother, if you want Josh so bad, why don't you just accept the title? You're going to still be able to prove what you believe. Just, this brother, I mean, come on, these are the kind of people who want to harass me. A brother who will call in and see a class titled Jesus Christ Foretold in the Apocrypha, but don't even go anywhere or address anywhere I went. You follow what I'm saying? Then he asked me questions about what I believe. I tell him straight off the bat. I ask him questions, he don't want to answer me. Then he picking and choosing places where he want to start reading from. I let him. I pick and choose a place I want to read from. Not only does he say, no, I want to read from here, then he rudely starts reading over me while I'm talking. These are your champions. These are your people. Go ahead.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Radio.
Help keep the show on the air. If you want to help, you can send your donation through PayPal. The email is debatetalkforyou@gmail.com or through Cash App, $salshowtime. Thanks for your support.